Well, well, well. Another day is the Cowboys' turns. What's going on, Cowboy fans? Jameson Taylor in the house. How's everything going, Jameson? Keeping you in our prayers? Not a lot of news on the Cowboys front today. There was another coaching hire, and I'm kind of surprised that no one is talking about it. I mean, they're not talking about it the way they talked about a lot of these other coaching hires, but there has been another coaching hire. And so we're going to identify that coaching hire today. Calvin, what's going on? Roderick in the crib, what's going on, my brother? Still haven't got the studio. I just got some repairs done today, Roderick. And then I'm gonna try to get the painting done after we get out this video. Jared, what's going on? Hey man, you see the video I did? I found that video you were talking about with Cam Newton. Check that out if you haven't. Went nuclear on Cam Newton. Had to be one of the craziest video, one of the craziest takes I've ever seen from somebody with Cam Newton. Crazy. Yeah. What's going on, P-Funk? Yeah, Jared, Stephen A. wants Mahomes to be the GOAT so bad, but he's got ulterior motives. Don't talk to me until you get 10. Don't even talk to me about anybody being the GOAT over Tom Brady until they get to 10 Super Bowls. They get to 10 Super Bowls, we can start having the conversation. Sam Clark, what's up? Carlos Edwards, what's going on with you? Rogers, yes sir, let's talk about it. I also got this thing. You ever heard of the tier list? You can go online and make these for free. We're going to rate the Dallas Cowboys coaches. Now, the one thing I couldn't find with the Dallas Cowboys coaches is I couldn't find the offensive line coach. I've been looking because Clayton Adams is the OC who used to be the O-line coach for Arizona. So I know they're not letting him be the O-line coach and the OC. That wouldn't make sense. I mean, I guess they could do it, but I didn't see it. Anybody knows who the new, because I've looked it up online and I just don't see it. But if anybody know who it is, let me know. But I noticed I thought we were done, but maybe that's the next coach we need to hire. Because when you pull it up, the only thing that keeps coming up is Clayton Adams, but he's the OC. And even when you look at DallasCowboys.com and you look at the coaching staff, there is no O-line coach on there. So I'm wondering, what are they doing with that? Y'all let me know if you've heard something, but I hadn't seen anything. Paul Talbot, what's going on? Hold the phone. Jerry Jones not trying to hit coaching status, is he? Man, you know what? Cam Newton said that. I'm like, Cam is losing his mind, man. Jared says the sheer amount of winning won't be matched by Mahomes. Man, I'm telling you, Tom Brady, I just don't think people understand, man. I don't think what Tom Brady has done is I don't think it'll ever be done again. Still went to 10 Super Bowls and won 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. It's crazy. I'm not even concerned about a three-peat. Tom Brady is Michael Jordan and LeBron James combined. Michael Jordan is the GOAT to me. 2 three-peats. But also, LeBron James, the thing I give him a lot of credit for is the longevity. LeBron James is going to own the records because of longevity. Not just because of, like, Jordan was just dominant for a long period of time. He was dominant. Took a break, came back, absolute dominant. LeBron James, dominant here and there, but longevity. Well, Tom Brady's both of those. I mean, Tom Brady's both of those. 7 Super Bowl wins. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. And he played how long? I don't know. What was he, 44, 45? I can't talk about any quarterback being the GOAT over Tom Brady. I can't do it. Richard Owens, what's going on with you, man? Hot Wax 93, what's going on? Hot Wax, we ain't gonna talk about it. I don't know about he cheated to get all of them. Oh, you said one of them. You know what? We could actually say he might have. I don't know if he cheated, but if we want to talk about cheating, if we call what they did for Tom Brady cheating, man, the stuff they doing for Patrick Mahomes, you know what? I'm telling you too. I do not agree with Mike Fisher. I know Mike Fisher is coming from a place of, I don't know, honesty. I guess he's coming from a place of honesty, but I also think Mike Fisher's being disingenuous. You don't have to have everybody in. When you're talking about to fix a game, you don't have to have everybody in on fixing the game. You don't. You don't have to have every player on a team in on a fix. You don't even have to have any players in on a fix. All it takes is one coach. People do not understand. One coach, one referee, one person upstairs in New York is all you need. That's all you need to fix a game. If a game gets to certain spots, and we all know, we've seen this happen. Mike Fisher, I like Mike Fisher. I listen to him, but he's being disingenuous. You can absolutely fix a game. You can absolutely fix a game, especially if you just keep your eyes open and wait on opportune moments. You can make plays. You can call penalties. You can do no calls at moments that could have actually changed the game. You could. This is why I say if the Philadelphia Eagles are going to beat, I just think the Eagles already are way better than the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs have the best quarterback. Philadelphia Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. They have the best team in the NFL. The way the Eagles can get around these calls, just get on top of them. Get up by 14. Get up by 17. When you get up by 14 or 17, you nullify a lot of those things. That's why people tell you, don't let the game fall into the hands of the refs and don't let the game fall onto the foot of the kicker. How do you do that? Execute. Get up by 14. Get up by 17. Then it becomes less, even the bad calls, they're way less impactful. But you got to get up. Because you mess around in the game be within 4, game be within 3. Referees may have they could make a pivotal call, put someone in field goal range, give somebody the ball on the 1. There are so many things you can do. I just don't agree with Mike Fisher on that. No, you can fix a game. You don't have to have the entire. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, the NFL could be in on it. But how many guys do you really need to be in on it? I'm sorry, you don't. You don't need a lot of people in on a fix. You just need a couple of key people. And if you got a couple of teams that are pretty good, you can just kind of watch the flow of the game, and then you can control the flow of the game in certain spots. Man, I'm telling you, anyone who's watched sports knows this stuff. And I know Fish is, but I know, I understand Fish can't be saying. Now, y'all got to understand something about Mike Fisher. Mike Fisher not me. Mike Fisher not Law Nation. Mike Fisher is not a content creator. Mike Fisher, let's think about this. Mike Fisher literally cannot be saying the NFL is fixed. He works within that system. Do we really think that Mike Fisher would continue to work around the NFL if he was walking around talking about the NFL is fixed? He would be out. He would literally be out of the, he would literally be fired by the Dallas Cowboys. So, I like you, Mike Fisher. But we know too, I mean, if any of us got any sense, we also know that there are certain subject matters that you couldn't, even if you knew. Even if Mike Fisher unequivocally knew the NFL was fixed, he couldn't say it. He might even say, yes, I could. No, he couldn't. He couldn't say it. Mike Fisher would be out of this league because he's a part of the league. Mike Fisher would be out of this league with the quickness. And he would. But let's get to this. Joe Grizzly, what's going on? Hot Wax says if you so much as look at Mahomes the wrong way, you getting flagged. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Mike Fisher can say anything he want to. Man, I'm telling you, you right on point, Hot Wax. It was the same way with Brady. And you know what? I don't know if it was, I don't know. Hot Wax. I don't know if it was, I watched some of the Brady years. This stuff with Patrick Mahomes, this stuff is crazy. Some of the games even the Chiefs have won this year. Man, some of the games they won this year, man, people say anything they want to. Man, Fish got to stop, man. Fish got to stop. What's going on, Paul Talbot? If you talk about the Fisher thing, come on, Paul. Me and you both know. You could not work for the NFL in any capacity for any team. If you were literally saying the NFL is fixed, you're done. You're done. You know what? It's not that he don't have credibility, but he don't have credibility in this. No, not buying it. Alex, yes, sir. What's going on? Jared said Chiefs fan used to say the refs used to say the refs thing about Brady, but now they disregard Mahomes. Oh man, it's different when it's in your own house, ain't it? Man, them doggone man. Patrick Mahomes, man, I love Patrick Mahomes. He's from my area. I'm from I'm 30 miles. I'm from 30 miles away from where he's from. He's from White House. I'm from Jacksonville. And that's in between. White House is in between Tyler and Jacksonville, where I grew up in Tyler. And I love Patrick Mahomes. But, man, even Patrick Mahomes now be playing this game, man. Patrick Mahomes know full well. Patrick Mahomes will stop right before he go out of bounds and get shoved so he can get a flag. He'll wait till the last minute. He might fake a slide or he'll slide at the last minute. Man, come on, Patrick Mahomes. Man, people keep trying to write this stuff out. They know better than this, man. They know better than this. How Wax? He said he expects the Chiefs to win because of the rest of Taylor Swift. I've been hearing that too. They could possibly go down in history as one of the worst teams ever to win the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are going to beat them. I think the Eagles are going to beat them. I really do. They got the better squad. I just think they're going to beat them. The only way they can beat them, though, is they got to get up on them. If the game is close, well, the Chiefs probably win. If it comes down to some last-minute drive, some field goal, you've messed up. The Chiefs will probably win, but they got to get up on them. That's all they have to do. Get up on them, nullify them refs. Joe Grizzly, what's going on? Yes, sir. You said you're from T-Town? Yes, sir. Man, yeah, I grew up in T-Town, man. Graduated in 89. Yes, sir. I went to John Tyler when it was John Tyler and Robert E. Lee when it was Robert E. Lee. I kind of used to hop around schools. That's a whole different story, though. All right, so let's get into this thing with the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have hired a new coach. I don't know if any of you heard this. The Dallas Cowboys have, it's almost like they quietly hired a new coach. His name is Taekwon. Hold on, let me get his name right. I think his name is Taekwon Underwood. Let me look him up, make sure. I don't know if any of you guys heard of this guy, but no one's talking about they hired Taekwon Underwood. Taekwon Underwood is the new wide receivers coach for the Dallas Cowboys. That's what my understanding is. No one said anything about it, but this is him. Have y'all heard about this? I hadn't seen anything on this. I mean, no one's making any kind of noise about it like they were about the other coaches. But it says Tyquan Underwood, the Cowboys' new secret weapon, set to invigorate Dallas with a player-centric coaching vision. New secret weapon? They had like this dude about to be a player coach. It says empowering player development through visionary coaching. Says the Dallas Cowboys have recently made a notable addition to their coaching staff by bringing on board Tyquan Underwood as the assistant wide receivers coach. Underwood's hiring marks a significant shift towards a more player-centric coaching philosophy under the leadership of Brian Schottenheimer. Tyquan Underwood, a former NFL wide receiver with 5 seasons of experience, is introducing a unique perspective to the Cowboys coaching staff. His emphasis is on the comprehensive development of players, both on and off the field, distinguishes his coaching style. Well, I tell you this, they better get him some wide receivers because CeeDee Lamb is really, to me, him, Ryan Flournoy, we'll see what Mingo is. Brandon Cooks, free agent, done. Jalen Brooks probably needs to be cut. I wouldn't even keep Jalen Tolbert. I think the Cowboys should cut Tolbert, Brooks. I can't remember if Brooks is on the free agency list, but I would cut him if he is. If he isn't, I would cut Tolbert, Brooks, Brandon Cooks, see you later, too much money, and I would go in the draft and get a wide receiver. And then we'll talk a little bit in a few. All the talk is about Cooper Kupp. Man, we'll talk about Cooper Kupp here in a moment. But Tyquan Underwood is the new wide receivers coach for the Cowboys. It says, despite being labeled as a players coach, Underwood remains steadfast in upholding high-performance standards for his players. He believes that a nurturing environment combined with high expectations is the key to unlocking players' full potential. I think the key to great wide receivers is teaching them how to run routes. Teaching them how to run routes, get in and out of routes and things of that nature. He said, I still hold them to a high standard for sure because they need that, Underwood asserts, highlighting his belief in the symbiotic relationship between accountability and growth. But I also understand this part too. There are some guys you got to get in their head. Some guys don't need as much of this stuff as some do. But you get these highly talented guys. You need to get in their head. You got to teach them how to use their talent, and then there are other ones you got to do different things to. But Tyquan Underwood, guys. So I'm just kind of wondering, what do we have left? What do we have left? Because I was looking at, again, I don't see the OC. I don't see the offensive line coach on the staff. So maybe we got to get another one. David, you know what? I've heard this over and over. If you're not cheating, you're not trying to win. I've heard this over and over. Yes, sir. Jose, what's going on? Go Cowboys. Jose, yeah, get rid of Steele. I think that may be a move they make here coming up. Richard Owens, sports betting, yes, has changed the game because they have to be able to control the outcome. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know about the rest of them, Robert, but I can tell you this. Vegas don't play to lose. Vegas don't play to lose. And when you get involved with Vegas, go look at some of them point spreads. Go look at some of them point spreads when it comes to Vegas. It's a little strange how a lot of those turn out. Paul says somebody needs to get that defense straightened out. Somebody tackle, please. Well, this is what we're hoping Matt Eberflus is going to bring to the thing. Jose said can't cut that many wide receivers. Injuries play a part. I say go get them in the draft. Well, I'm an advocate for. I think the Cowboys need to go get a wide receiver in the first or the second round. I think they need to do running back in the first if Genty is there. The second round, there will be a plethora of wide receivers the Cowboys can get in the second round. If they don't get McMillan, I would love them to get a Ibuka from Ohio State. I just don't think he's going to be around by the time the Cowboys get back around to the second round, because he will probably be, I could easily see him being the second or the third wide receiver being taken in this draft. But the Cowboys, and there's a kid from TCU, y'all remind me of what his name is, but the Cowboys need to get a wide receiver in the second or the third round. Running back to me is priority one, because that's going to change life on this team. Priority two is a bona fide wide receiver. Now, if the Cowboys so happen to go get a wide receiver in free agency, of which I do not believe it, everybody keeps talking about Cooper Kupp. We'll look at that in just a moment. Everybody keeps talking about Cooper Kupp. I just think Cooper Kupp, at the age he's at, I think the price on Cooper Kupp is insanity. I mean, it's insanity. I am not dealing with Cooper Kupp from the Cowboys. Insanity on that price. I mean, we'll look at that in a moment. But if they don't go and get a great wide receiver in the free agency, they got to do it in the draft. And for me, Jalen Brooks, no, I got to get Jalen Brooks and Tolbert. The Cowboys have given Tolbert. This was supposed to be Tolbert's year. I'm keeping Ryan Flournoy. I'm actually starting him over Jalen Tolbert. But I think Jalen Tolbert has had too much time for the Cowboys to show the team what he is. And he has just not, he did not rise to the occasion. He flashed here and there. But for the most part, Jalen Tolbert, I can't do another year with him. I can't do another year. I can't. Super chat here. Let's see who got. Oh, Roderick again. Roderick, boy, you got some overtime going, huh?
Here we go.
Appreciate you, Roderick. $9.99 super chat. Yes, sir. For the cheddar popcorn. Yes, sir. We'll put all that into the channel, my brother. Appreciate you. Alex says, last night I was looking at the 2024 quarterback tight window and turnovers worthy plays chart. Dak had the most tight window throws by far last season at 27.1%. We need another receiver. Bad. Yes, bad. And the ones we got, I just don't think they're good enough. One thing the Cowboys need to do, you're bringing in all these coaches, and these seem to be some good coaches. I think that Schottenheimer's staff, y'all tell me what you think. We're gonna do our coaching tier here in just a second. But y'all tell me what y'all think. I believe that this staff is head and shoulders above Mike McCarthy's coaching staff. I think it's head and shoulders above Mike McCarthy's staff. When the Cowboys brought on Mike McCarthy, I mean, a big deal wasn't even being made about the staff. I mean, really, nobody was really talking about the staff. Who was his coaching staff? I mean, it was like, and this is why I say, in hindsight, the Brian Schottenheimer move may have been the best move the Cowboys could make, because the problem is when you bring in a Super Bowl winning coach, you bring in a Super Bowl winning coach, he doesn't come in with a chip on his shoulder like, I got to get one. No, we're going to get us a Super Bowl. I want it. I want a Super Bowl. We're going to get it. And the chip on my shoulder is, and we're going to do whatever we got to do to get it. I want a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy kind of came in kind of fat-catting. Well, I got a Super Bowl. I've been to the playoffs multiple times. I've developed quarterbacks. I've helped build teams. It was like when Mike McCarthy walked into the building, everybody was like, okay, yeah, look, he's done this, he's done that, he's done this, he's done that. And they're giving him all the, they're giving him all the praise. He's been there and done it, so surely he can help us do it. Did you look at how he got it? Did you look at his career before and after the Super Bowl? How long do you let a coach ride a Super Bowl? How long do you say, hey, man, when do we get from under he won a Super Bowl? Now, if you're telling me he won a Super Bowl in 2020, 2018, what's the threshold? 10, What's the threshold? Man, we'll be talking about, yeah, man, this dude here, he know how to do it. Did you look at the players that he had when he won a Super Bowl? Because if you don't have the players or even resemble the team that he had, well, how does that count for you? Players make coaches. Man, you mess around and get some good players in this league. Ask Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore ate off Dak Prescott. Went to other teams. Went to the Chargers. They thought he was going to really take Justin Herbert to a whole nother level. Justin Herbert, great. I'm not even going to say great. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback that everyone says is an elite quarterback. And all I can tell you is he's barely had winning seasons, ran through 3 coaches, two OCs. But I digress. Ask Kellen Moore what players will do for you. Kellen Moore is the OC on a team where the quarterback is nowhere near as prolific as Dak Prescott was through the air. But they won 14 games, and they're in the Super Bowl. And Kellen Moore is about to be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Context matters. Players make coaches. Now, if you show me a coach who goes and wins the Super Bowl with a literal bunch of nobodies, I mean a bunch of nobodies. I mean, he's taking second and third string guys. I mean, he's just got nothing. And he takes that team to the Super Bowl. Okay, everybody should want that coach. But a lot of times you start talking about going to the Super Bowl. They either have a great team or maybe they don't have a great team, but maybe they're elite on one side of the ball. And I'm talking elite. We have had teams like this. Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco. Defense absolutely elite. Trent Dilfer, when he won with the Seahawks, they had an absolutely great defense, killer run game. You think about Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl. Had a super team around him. Go check that team. Check the Kansas City Chiefs. There's only one quarterback that has went to the Super Bowl and won without a top 10 defense across from him. And maybe not the only, but in the last few years, and it's been a long time since any quarterback has done it, Patrick Mahomes. But he is an elite quarterback, and he had an elite wide receiver, as in Tyreek Hill at once upon a time. When you find coaches that win with certain types of teams, it's either going to be a great team or they are elite on one side of the ball. And if you're elite on defense, you can do a whole lot of things. You can beat a whole lot of teams when you're elite on defense because your point threshold becomes so low. I mean, if you can just muster 17 points and you got an elite defense, pretty much you probably beat about 12 or 13 teams. Michael Hankins says, he said he is. You got that right, baby. Hold on a second. Tony says, went to the beginning of the video. Zach Martin would be the next O-line coach. Ooh. I haven't heard that. Now, Zach Martin in Zach Martin news, it sounds like that Zach Martin. I have a strange feeling that Zach Martin is actually going to play. Now, according to what I heard, Zach Martin's contract was designed for him to retire. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I guess if this is what's being said, Zach Martin's contract supposedly is designed for him to retire. You look at his contract here, and I think what's being said about the retirement part is what's being talked about are the void years. This is how they manage these big contracts now. So when he signed the contract, they automatically kicked a lot of his money down into the void years. So he's already set up to be, and I understand it, what they're saying, he was set up to retire. he was set up to retire. To already have the money down in the void years, they pretty much already knew what they were doing. So I understand that. But he still has on the books. He's scheduled to play in 2025. He's scheduled to play in 2025. And so, Zach Martin is saying depends on how his ankles feel. Depending on how his ankle feels, if he's fully healed. And, we got to think about with Zach Martin. Zach Martin is the type of player, man, he was so good that if Zach Martin comes back healthy, his mediocre year would be a good to a great year for someone else. But he wants to play at an elite level. So we'll see if he plays. I hadn't heard anything about him being the the offensive line coach. But it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Jose Hernandez said, with a heavy run first offense, should be looking into getting 2 running backs in the draft. I said the same thing. I've been saying this long before they even did the Brian Schottenheimer thing. I was hollering for Rico Dowdle to start. Got what we wanted. Rico Dowdle looked pretty good. Only problem with Rico Dowdle, and don't get me wrong, I actually wouldn't mind bringing Rico Dowdle back. Y'all tell me what you think. I wouldn't mind bringing back Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is a grinded out running back. Rico Dowdle going to get you, if you let him run 25 times, Rico Dowdle on a really good day, he probably can get you by 130, 140 even. Problem is, if he gets you 140, this is what it looks like. 3, 9, 2, 12, 6, 15 maybe max. And it's a grinded out day. He to me is a type of running back that if you want to do 15 play drives, okay, Rico Dowdle could probably, you could probably make do. But if you play an elite defense, Rico Dowdle will probably be rendered ineffective. Against an elite, not even an elite, against a good to great defense, he's going to probably be rendered ineffective. You get behind in the game, Rico Dowdle will be rendered ineffective probably for the most part. He needs to be paired with a home run hitter, like an Ashton Genty or Marion Hampton, with the understanding of, we're going to let you be the starting back, but that's not really saying much because we're probably going to split these carries to where it's going to be, because I would like to see the Cowboys run the ball somewhere around 35 to 40 times. Dak Prescott have 25 throws. That would be 65 plays. 65 plays with 40 runs, and I'm talking about, and you're getting somewhere around 150 to 175 yards in that game. That meant you dominated that game. Play action is probably going to be working out of its mind. Dak Prescott's going to probably have with those 25 throws somewhere between 225 to 300 yards, probably around 2 to 3 touchdowns, maybe even 4 on a really good day. And then if we need to break the glass, Dak Prescott can go crazy and have a 375 to 400 yard day maybe once every 6 to 7 games. But if you keep Rico Dowdle, you have got to get a home run hitter. You got to have one, because sometimes you just want to break a game open if possible and break a team's back. This is what the Eagles have done this year. Saquon Barkley had the most explosive plays in the NFL, period. And some of Saquon Barkley's plays have been backbreakers. Backbreaking plays. When a team comes out in the opening drive and a running back breaks 65 yards, backbreaker. Because that tells that defensive line it's about to be a long day. They're about to run us crazy. They're going to run us crazy. But yeah, the Cowboys need to. Wouldn't be mad if they kept Rico Dowdle. I just wouldn't be mad. David Everett, I'm gonna do my late shows on Wednesdays. I've already decided I'm gonna do them on Wednesdays. Haven't decided the other day, might be either Friday or Saturday. Yeah, he said he isn't sure if if he'll retire or play some more. He said he wants to see how that ankle is. And I think if that ankle is right, I think he'll play. Because I'm telling you, I think there's a team out there that's going to pay him some money. I think they're going to pay him some money. I do. I think the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Cincinnati Bengals would pay Zach Martin to play. Even if it's one season, I think they're paying big money to play. Front office. Jonathan Mingo, I seen promise. Yeah, Cooper Rush. I said it when they first got him. Everyone just be patient. We're not going to know. We're not going to know what Jonathan Mingo is until Dak gets back because Cooper Rush, he's not the quarterback. Richard says Clayton is supposed to be O-line coach and run game. Okay, so he's going to do both. Yeah, because Shotty is going to call plays. I do know that. That's okay. That's what I was wondering, Richard. So, okay, we'll get to our quarterback thing here just now. We'll get to our quarterback. We'll get to our coaching tier. And y'all tell me what you think about the coaching tier. Tone Cyphers, Tampa Bay for Trent. Tim Pennell, I thought so, Tone. Let's see. Tampa Bay for Trent. Okay, give me some more on that. What's going on, Michael James? You know what? I did a video on Derek Foster. I'm wondering about Derek Foster. If you look, I'm telling you, if you look at the Saints wire, they're not sad he's gone. You look at the Saints wire, they're not sad he's gone. Because while Alvin Kamara had one of his better years in years, the rest of the running back room was terrible. But, hey, you know what? The Saints were not a good team. Even though after they beat us, everybody thought they were going to the Super Bowl. It's amazing how they thought they were going to the Super Bowl. Adapa, James had me stop watching the NBA after the Spurs won their last championship. I stopped watching. James was always on a super team, and the rest of the NBA was trash besides Golden State. Yeah, he was always on super teams. He kind of brought that in the NBA. But I think the issue is they haven't been able to do nothing since. Joseph Rose says Zach Martin, he old. He might play one more time, one more season. Dro knows what's going on. Jared, it's recency bias with Mahomes. Yeah. Paul Pierce said Mahomes has already beat better quarterbacks than it. Oh, my God. This is crazy talk. Man, this new generation disrespects the older generation so bad, man. It's a shame. Shameful. Stop it. That's just nonsense. Bring Rico back for he needs one help. If he comes back, like I said, he will need another running back to be paired with him, and it's got to be a home run hitter. That crazy they took that team away from Mark. Oh, man. You talking about Mark Jackson? Man, let me tell you something. They need to do a story on Mark Jackson. They blackballed him not only out of the they first blackballed him out of coaching. Then they blackballed him out of broadcasting. Man, Mark Jackson is one of the best broadcasters out there. But Mark Jackson's got some beliefs. We'll leave it there. He got some beliefs they don't agree with. And so they ran this man out. Oh, I get you. Yeah, he needs some help. Yeah, he got to have a home run hitter. What's going on, Wicked? Wicked, yes, sir. Y'all make sure y'all get them likes up. Almost 200 watching, under 40 likes. Yes, sir. Show your appreciation. Appreciate you, Wicked. Ken says Rico needs to be the change-up back. Yeah, explosive back. Got to have a home run hitter. Yep. Got to have a home run hitter. Now, I tell you what. The way they talking about this run game, if I were the Cowboys, if I'm the front office, I let Rico ride. This running back class is so loaded. You might literally be able to get one in the first round. And then way back in the 6th or the 7th round, you probably could still get a running back that's more explosive than Rico Dowdle. Man, this draft is loaded with running backs. The only way you don't get a running back in this draft, you don't want it. Literally, all 32 teams in this draft can get a running back. All 32 teams can get a running back in this draft. They can. There's no reason why they can't. They all can get a running back if they want them. All of them. Yeah, I said the same thing, Cowboys Thanos. I think that Mingo is going to be more than fine when Dak Prescott gets back. I believe the same thing too. The Cotty Show Sports says, we will keep Cooper Rush, man. Ugh. Well, you know what? I'm still hearing that Cooper Rush may be in Minnesota. They're saying that he may go to Minnesota and be the backup. I forgot his name, but they're talking about he may be the backup in Minnesota. Maybe the backup in Minnesota. Delta Roots, what's going on? He said, I think the Dallas needs a great strength and conditioning coach. You know, I was looking at their strength and conditioning coaches just as you said. It's ironic you said that. We're gonna rate our coaches here in just a moment. The strength and conditioning coaches, Harold Nash Jr., 19 years, Kendall Smith, 11 years, and Cedric Smith, 22 years. 23 years. So I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't heard anything like they're new or anything. But these are the guys. So I don't know what that means. You know, I don't know what that means. Alex, appreciate that super chat. He said, who do you think will make a bigger impact, Eberflus or Adams? Also, I got the Eagles 55-45 in the Super Bowl. Ooh, wow, you think it's going to be 100 points? I don't think it's going to be something like 55-45, but I tell you this, I think there's going to be some points. It was 35-38 last time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 41-38 this time. But you know what? This game could go a couple of different ways, and we're going to talk about it on Friday. I'm telling y'all, the Philadelphia Eagles did not build this team to win the NFC East. They built this team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They built it to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. People just don't, it's like people don't even understand. The Eagles were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. People were talking like the Eagles have been so far removed from the Super Bowl. No, they were just there 2 years ago. And everybody's like, yeah, Saquon Barkley ran them to the Super Bowl. Well, who ran them to the Super Bowl 2 years ago? Saquon Barkley helped them get back to the Super Bowl. There's no denying that. But let's stop acting like they hadn't been there before. And they scored 35 points the first one. With Saquon Barkley, I'm sorry. Saquon Barkley has to be the best pickup of the last. He was the best pickup in the last free agency. Because he's making literally the best impact of any of the free agents. The Eagles are better than what they were when they played them in the first Super Bowl. I don't think the Chiefs are as good as they were when they played them in the first Super Bowl. I don't see how they win. I just don't see how they win. I actually wouldn't be surprised. Everyone's thinking it's going to be close. But if the Eagles do what they're supposed to do, no other ifs. If they just do what they're supposed to do, I could see this game easily being Philly something like 35, the Kansas City Chiefs 24. I could easily see it getting to that point because, man, when you got a dude like Saquon Barkley, that's scary, man. That is scary to play a running back that good, and let's not sleep on their offensive line. But we'll talk about this on Friday. I'm telling you, they built this team to beat the Chiefs. Nisi, what's going on with you? Good to see you in the chat. Richard, yep. I'm with you, Richard. I want a duo. I do. If you get Ashton Genty, don't go to sleep. Go back in the 5th or the 6th, maybe the 7th. The Cowboys have 10 picks. Go get another running back. Get another one. I would love to have 2 high-caliber running backs here. It is about time that if we're going to do 2 running backs, let's not go and get 2 running backs that are, I don't want 2 running backs who are, I want them competing because that'll make them both better. But I don't want it to be about like the Cowboys did it this year. It was like they were fighting. It was like, it's like we couldn't just do like Detroit and have Montgomery and Gibbs and they be like best friends and they both just be tearing it up out there. It was like it was Zeke against Rico Dowdle. I don't want to see that again. Just go out there and get you 2 great running backs and do their thing. Oh, yeah. Johnny was good. Johnny Unitas was good. Man, There are a lot of great old quarterbacks. I mean, you think about it. Roger Staubach was a great quarterback. Great quarterback. Terry Bradshaw was good too. Terry Bradshaw was good to great. Man, Bradshaw did his thing, man. I mean, he had some players around him, but they all did back in those days. Bradshaw was good too. Still got 4 Super Bowls. Dude ain't nothing to sleep. There ain't nothing to sleep on either. A Dapper, man. Yeah, I can't do the Cooper Kupp thing. We'll look at Cooper Kupp here in just a moment. Let's go to our tiers, and I'll come back to some of your comments. Let's go to the tier list. There is a thing on the internet. Let's see. You can create a tier list. I don't know if you've ever seen these before, but I figured we'd have some fun tonight and do this with the Dallas Cowboy coaches to kind of see how we rank with our coaching staff. And y'all kind of give me some feedback and tell me what you think. So, as you can see here, I have up on the screen, this is the tier list. And I guess I made my pictures too tall. It kind of cut some of the heads off of them. But, so the first thing I want to look at, Will McClay being re-signed to the Dallas Cowboys. I think Will McClay has taken a lot of backlash because people have said some of the recent drafts have not been that good. But I think people are not understanding that I think the Cowboys have been letting some of these coaches be in on the draft more than we understood in the past. Because I noticed when Jason Garrett was here, did y'all notice the Cowboys were hitting on the offensive line? The Cowboys were hitting on the offensive line. And then they wound up getting DeMarco Murray. They wound up getting DeMarco Murray. They wound up getting Ezekiel Elliott. It was like Jason Garrett was trying to build this team to look like the 90s Cowboys team that he played on. Then we get Mike McCarthy. And then you notice with Mike McCarthy and the place that I was kind of thrown, it's like the draft was never quite right with Mike McCarthy. We stopped hitting on the line. And then we started making some very questionable picks, like Schoonmaker. Now, don't get me wrong, Schoonmaker is looking better now. But Schoonmaker was a second round draft pick? I thought that was crazy. Mike McCarthy actually said he had Jonathan Mingo at a 4th round grade. I don't know if Jonathan Mingo is a 4th round grade. I mean, we're going to see what he looks like. But I think they've had these coaches being in on the draft process. And maybe this is why the draft under Mike McCarthy hasn't quite looked right. So I'm looking forward to the draft up under Schottenheimer. Because I think if they're going to let Schottenheimer and if they're all going to kind of brainstorm, but we already know what they want to do. Everyone knows now the Cowboys want to run the ball. So we know what they're going to do up under Schottenheimer. They will get a running back in the 1st or the 2nd round. There is no doubt about it. And if Genty is there, I think they get Genty for the fans. I do. I think they get Genty for the fans. Now, if Genty isn't there, depending upon who is there, if there is another one of these top 12 picks we looked at the other night, if I'm the Cowboys, if there's someone like, if something weird happens, like Abdul Carter happens to be there, you got to get Abdul Carter. I mean, Travis Hunter ain't gonna fall there, but I'm just saying, players like that, if they fall right there, if Mac Millen is there, you got to get Mac Millen and get the running back in the 2nd. But short of any of those things happening, because I don't think they're going to happen, it would be insane for Mac Millen to fall to the Cowboys. There is no way Abdul Carter falls to the Cowboys. So if none of those things are going to happen, Genty is there, take him, don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it. I'm going to do a video in the next day or two, my top 5 running backs for the Cowboys coming up. But I don't even blink. If Genty is there, get him. But if Genty is not there, consider trading back. There are good enough running backs that if you trade back, you will still hit the lottery on these running backs. They're that good this year. They're that good this year. But let me pop Will, and I'm saying all this to say, Will McClay has to be included in what we're calling the coaching staff, because Will McClay is kind of the bridge between the coach and the Joneses. So Will McClay. When I think about the re-signing of one Will McClay, I got him down as the GM. I really have to put Will McClay at the S tier. Y'all tell me what you think. I have to put Will McClay in at the S tier. Let me let y'all catch up. I'll read a couple of comments while y'all are looking. Y'all tell me what you think. But I gotta put Will McClay at the S tier. Cotty Show. Whoo, man. Cotty Show, tell me, man. I don't know. You tell me. I don't think Deuce Vaughn is not too. It's not that he's too little, because he's not a little guy. You know, a lot of people may not realize this dude's not a little guy, but he's a small guy. I think with a guy like him, because we've seen teams use guys his size before, I just think you got to know how to use him. The question is, can Shotty do it? I think the way the Cowboys, I think the way Mike McCarthy was trying to use Deuce Vaughn was dumb. I think if you're going to have Deuce Vaughn has got to be your screen guy. He's got to be your sweep, because he can run the ball. There's no doubt to me he can run the ball in the league. He's a small guy, but he's a big guy. No more of this between the tackle stuff with Deuce. That's stupid. Let's get him in the screen game. Can you get him some sweeps? Can you get Deuce Vaughn in space? Because Deuce Vaughn in space, he can make people miss. The question is, will he have enough patience to keep fooling with Deuce Vaughn? I don't know. I don't know, man. Whew. I just tell you, for me, if it's me, I'd cut Deuce Vaughn. I would never have a running back. Man, you got to be so good to be that small. But who knows? Maybe if they can work him in this year into the playbook, let's see what he is. I mean, you got him, I'm pretty sure, still pretty cheap on the contract. And his father is on the team, so I could see the Cowboys keeping him. Maybe Shotty's saying, let me see what I can do with him. But he can't be in the 1-2 rotation. He's got to be more my gadget guy. He's got to be a part of my gadget packages. Woo, yeah, Joe Montana. Nasty. Man, you'd rank him over. Oof. I'm just being honest with you and me. I just don't have anybody ranked over Brady. Cheat scandals included. I just don't have anybody ranked over Brady. 7 out of 10 is crazy. And then to go do it on another team is crazier. And at the age he did it at, even more crazier. Tom Brady's career is insane. It is insane, no matter how you slice it. Genty round 1. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You read my mind, Alex. Genty round 1 and another one in the mid to late. Yeah, me too. I'd get me another one in the 6th if I could. With those picks. Hey, man, I got extra picks. I'd get me another one. I say you get 2 of them and let them jokers battle it out and develop together and let iron sharpen iron. And then you come out with a running attack that will not quit. Yeah, I appreciate the history, though, how it wax. Yeah, Unitas he was nice with it. For sure. Yep, Fred Tarkenton too. Man, that dude Fred Tarkenton, man, he was one of them dudes. He was a scrambler before. Fred Tarkenton's scrambles were epic. Fred Tarkenton's scrambles were epic. C-Base, Cup ain't special. Man, we got guys in the current roster that can do what he produced. We good. Yeah, you know what? Cooper Kupp reminds me of when Jordy Nelson, who was a great wide receiver, but as he got towards the end, you're taking a chance on getting him. Cooper Kupp has been really, really hurt. He struggled to stay healthy. I couldn't do it. The money for him is too much. The Rams is willing to eat $20 million of his salary cap. Interesting. You never know. Jerry might want him. But I'll tell you this. I don't care if they get him or not. I think they still need to go in the draft and get a wide receiver in the second. I don't go below the second, the first or the second round. They need a super stud at wide receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb. I don't think they need a second wide receiver. I think they need a 1B. I think they need a guy that good. They need a guy that good that can literally push CeeDee Lamb. I do. I think they need a guy that good. Cooper Kupp is no longer in his prime. Wouldn't want him. I just wouldn't want him. Devontae Adams, maybe, but even Devontae Adams is 31, about to hit 32. These guys are about to start crashing. Now, if I already had two great wide receivers and I could get one of them on the cheap, oh, yeah, they'd be great as a third option. But as a second option is what the Cowboys need a second option. And I mean, they need a bona fide second option. Because right now they just got a who's who of number 2 wide receiver. I think even Brandon Cooks would have been better for the Cowboys had they had another wide receiver. It hurt Brandon Cooks for them to try to make Brandon Cooks the number 2 wide receiver when I don't think that's what his role is. Byron, appreciate the super chat.
Yeah! Here we go!
Byron said, when we saw McCarthy use Turpin at running back, I would like to see Shoddy use him like that more. I'm hoping that Shoddy uses Kevontae Turpin a whole lot more. I think that was one of the – if I would sit down with Mike McCarthy, that would have been one of the things I would have had against him. He did not use – do y'all know that these people are saying Kevontae Turpin is – now, I don't know. I've seen Tyreek Hill run, and Tyreek Hill is not human. Kevontae Turpin is on the verge of not being human either. I would love to see them two in the race. Kevontae Turpin is blazing fast. And you only use him the way the Cowboys did? Man, you get that dude on another team. Could you imagine Andy Reid with Kevontae Turpin? Could you imagine Kevontae Turpin with Sean McVay? Kyle Shanahan? Kevontae Turpin? Shoot, all-pro kick returner? Man, Kevontae Turpin would be an all-pro wide receiver on those teams. I hope Schottenheimer finds a way to use him too. I really do. I hope Schottenheimer can find a way to use him too. Hey, Roberto, what's going on with you? I just seen you in the chat. Nisi said, McCarthy said the strength and conditioning coaches needed more staff under them. He did. And then she says, then again, McCarthy said a lot of things. I'm with you. Yep. He might be right in some instances, but then he said a whole lot of things. Man, that joker there, man. The stuff that's starting to come out on Mike McCarthy. I say this. I mean, hey, you know what? Leave Mike McCarthy alone. I mean, but hey, Niece, it ain't nothing but facts what you just said. It ain't nothing but facts. They turned Mike McCarthy up, though, the more he been gone. Because I'm tripping on the fact I told y'all. I knew Jerry came to Mike McCarthy with a I said it. I would not be surprised Jerry came at him with a 3-year deal. And that 3-year deal was probably a 2-year deal. Mike McCarthy wanted I think a 5-year deal? Nah, ain't no way. Vincent Johnson, stop Saquon as KC wins out. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's the problem. That's just not going to happen. And the other issue is this, Vincent Johnson. So if you stop Saquon Barkley, ask the Dallas Cowboys. So how do you stop Jalen Hurts? Can't stop both of them. This is why this team is lethal. Not because Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the league. They're lethal because how do you stop both of them? How do you stop them? It's almost impossible to do. Jalen Hurts will kill you on the ground. And then what really makes him hurt you bad is that he can always make, as I said before, this dude can make 4 or 5 throws a game that make you go, he threw that? Because he'll put a ball in a place to make you go, perfect. Jalen and Saquon Barkley is a deadly combination. It was supposed to be the same type of combination with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But the problem is with the doggone Baltimore Ravens, they got behind and got impatient. I can't stand when they do it. They did the same thing to Lamar Jackson the year before last. Kansas City stops Lamar Jackson from running, and so now they say, let's turn him into a pocket passer and let him drop back 30 times. Stupid. If your identity is running, you don't stop running because the team says we're going to take away the running back. Okay, I dare you. Just because you're going to stop, you decided you're going to stop the run doesn't mean if I'm planning on running the ball 30 times, I'm running it 30 times. And I'm going to wear your defense out. Your defense, if I run the ball 30 times, you got to stop me 30 times. And I got Saquon Barkley. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to crack that wall eventually. And Saquon Barkley going to hit his head on the goalpost. I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs can stop. I don't think they can stop him a whole game because no one was hardly able to do it. Alex says 55-45% is wise. Okay, I got you. I don't see Chiefs scoring 45 on the Eagles. They knew. Man, I'm telling you, I think they can hold them to 24. I really do think they can hold them to 24. I do. Tober was Dak boy, bro. That's why he got, yeah, but he got to go, man. I do. I agree with you. He got to go. He got to go. Yeah, I'm with you, Ice Wild Cowboy. If it wasn't a quarterback award, Saquon Barkley should get it. But I tell you this, he going to have a great opportunity to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. I will not be surprised if the Eagles win. It will be because Saquon Barkley popped 2. I'm not talking 1. He going to pop 2 on him. I will not be surprised if Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the game. Eagles have no pass rush like the last Super Bowl. Their D-line is pretty good, though. I think it's pretty good, recruiter. Mahomes is 8-0 versus Fangio. Man, cool. Boy, you come with them stats on me, man. I can't argue. You come with them stats, but I think they're going to beat them. I do. KC wins because of coaching. Yep. Coaching is great. They got 3 great coaches. Hey, man, come on, stop this Cowboys, Thanos. Do you not realize that Kellen Moore is about to be a head coach in this league? Let's get this man a break. But you know what? We're going to look at something in a moment. I think that Michael Parsons actually talked about that too. But again, all right, now let me go back. Y'all tell me what you think. So I have Will McClay as an S tier on the GM spot for the Cowboys. So let me keep going. So Brian Schottenheimer. Now I'm going to show you why I think this whole thing is working out perfectly for the Cowboys. So Brian Schottenheimer, I'm just talking about right now. Brian Schottenheimer. I don't know anything about him as a head coach. I know he's going to run the ball. I know he's a guy that brings people together. But I'm going to show you where I rank Brian Schottenheimer. Y'all tell me if you say something different. Let me see. Did I get Brian? All right. It don't even, let's see. All right, let me get Shotty on here real quick. Now I'm gonna show y'all where I got Shotty ranked. So don't be surprised, but I'm gonna explain to you why I have him here. Let me see if it went in here. But y'all let me know. Do y'all think, now, you know when it says S tier, of course, that is like top tier. All right. Okay, hold on a second. Let me go back and add Brian Schottenheimer to my list. That's what happened. It didn't throw Brian Schottenheimer on there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Let's go back here just for a second. All right, so I'm going to show you where I got Brian Schottenheimer. Like I said, I'm going to show you where I have him ranked. You may be surprised where I have him ranked, but you tell me what you think once you see how do I have him ranked. All right, let's go back here and add him in here. That's what happened. It didn't put him on the list. All right, let me go back here just for a moment. See if we can add Shotty on that list over there real quick. All right, so let me go back. So y'all tell me where you think. I got Brian Schottenheimer just because we don't know anything about him. But I do like the pick with Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer on the list. I'm going to rank Brian Schottenheimer as a C+. I can't give him a B or an A because I just don't know enough about, how is he really going to put the team together. But I got Brian Schottenheimer as a C on my list. I got Schottenheimer as a C on my list. But what is going to equal this out? But I think Matt Eberflus is an A-tier defensive coordinator. And I think that is what's going to equal out. I think that's what's going to balance out. And let me go ahead and do the OC, and then we'll do the assistants. But I also got Clayton Adams. I'm going to put Clayton Adams as a B+. I want to put him as an A, but I'm going to put him as a B+. So if I got the head coach, the OC, and the DC, I got the head coach as a C. Not based on the fact that he's necessarily bad. We just don't know what he is. But I like what he's doing as far as the culture. I like what he's doing as far as his philosophy, what he's talking about, and how he's it's like they're aligning the whole organization. I give him a C. Clayton Adams as the OC, and because he's going to be dealing with the O-line and what he did with Arizona, top 10 stats, Clayton Adams is a B. Matt Eberflus as a defensive coordinator was really good with the Indianapolis Colts. And that Chicago Bears defense really turned it on in his last year. I think the Cowboys are going to give him better players than what he's had in these last two stints. I think Eberflus is going to be even better. So, C+, B+, A. And I think this is what's going to really, and of course with Will McClay and with what Will McClay is going to go in this draft and do, I'm pretty sure they've already got their second, third, and fourth backup plan for what they're going to do at running back, because I'm telling you, I guarantee you, Genty, they take him. Genty not there, probably trade back. Or I wouldn't be surprised they say, okay, can't get Genty. Maybe they do D-line in the first round. Maybe they do D-line in the first round and then do running back in the second and wide receiver in the third. But they're going to get a running back in the second for sure. I believe no later than the second round they get a running back. But I'm praying that it's the first round that they go and get the running back, and I'm hoping that Ashton Genty is there. All right. So let me get caught up. You guys, you can catch up on what I'm saying, and then you'll start commenting. I'll read a couple of comments while you guys are catching up where I am. C-Bay said, I take Adams over Kupp. Oh, man. Who, boy, Devontae Adams? Now, the problem is with Devontae Adams, he wants to be paid. I mean, Cooper Kupp's contract's bad enough, but Devontae Adams is wanting a brand new deal. Cowboy Jesse James, I'm the same way. No on Kupp. We do need to draft a stud wide receiver. I agree, G. Yes, sir. We need to. I'm telling you, I would prefer us to go in the first round and get him. No later than the second. This is my dream. First round running back, second round wide receiver. Unless if in some crazy scenario McMillan was there, I would take McMillan first. I'd get Omarion Hampton in the second. Genty isn't there in the first. I trade back, get another pick. I either get my fourth pick back or I get in the third round. I'll get 2/3. I get a third. I'll get back in the upper part of the draft, trade back, still. If Omarion Hampton is gone, which he probably won't be, I would get Omarion Hampton still if I went back in the first round. I'd get Omarion Hampton, and then I'd have me an extra draft pick. Now I can really go to work then. I'll get that wide receiver in the second round. I'll have an extra third. Man, I can do D-line, linebacker, D-line, cornerback. Man, the D-line safety. I can do all kinds of things if I can get another draft pick by going backwards, because I think that's what they should do if they don't get Genty. Because I think you can get Hampton in the second. And even if you don't get Hampton in the second, the kids from Ohio State are explosive. You will still be able to get a top tier running back. Even if you get him in the second round, you're going to better get a top tier. But if Genty's not there and McMillan's not there, man, get the picks, Dallas. Get the picks. Go backwards, get another third, and you get that. Man, the flexibility you would have if the Cowboys got an extra third round draft pick could really do some building on this team. Cooks is better than Kupp. We good. Cooks ain't going to be here. Cook's contract is way too much. Yeah, Cooks is done. He's not going to be here. Pracey, oh, man, stop it. Boy, man, let me tell you something. DK Metcalf may be the only receiver. I can't think of another receiver off the top of my head that if DK Metcalf was available, I would literally take DK Metcalf and then I would be set for the draft. I wouldn't even worry about getting a wide receiver in the draft if I got DK Metcalf, because I'm not getting DK Metcalf for a year. If I get DK Metcalf, that's going to be a 3-year deal. I would sign Metcalf to a 3-year deal if I could get Metcalf. I would. I wouldn't even worry about wide receiver. I'd get my running back in the first, and then I would just go. I would probably get me I would start building the defense. I think the Cowboys need a really, really good defense. I think their first two picks should be wide receiver and running back. But if you get DK Metcalf, you've already solved that. I mean, you've solved wide receiver. Let me tell you something. Could you imagine Dak Prescott with DK Metcalf? CeeDee Lamb, I don't know how CeeDee Lamb would feel, but I can tell you this. Dak would not be force-feeding CeeDee Lamb no more. And if you got DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb, boy, that's a choice. Boy, that's a scary choice to make as a defense on which one you want to double. Yeah, Dak is most successful when he has a wide receiver he can trust, like when he had Beasley, Beach from TCU, Beck from TCU. Yeah. You know what? I'm interested to see. He may be on their list. And Beck, you tell me what you think, Dro. Beck may be a guy you could get in the third. I don't know if I've seen him on the draft boards anywhere. I haven't seen him in the top 10 in the draft, so he could be one of them guys you can get in the third. Shotty is the one who suggested using Turpin in the backfield. All right, Vincent Johnson, okay. So I could see him using Turpin even more. The only thing that has slowed down Kupp is injuries. That's it. That's why I wouldn't touch him. Yeah, I wouldn't touch him because of the injuries. But, boy, if it wasn't for injuries, Cooper Kupp would still be good for another couple of years. That was a Papa Do's meme. You said it's a Papa Do's menu, Dro. I said it was I said it was a Waffle House menu. That's what I said it was. I said it was a Waffle House menu. Yes, sir. He had that huge play sheet on the sideline. Yeah, I said it was a Waffle House. Carter Shaw said, I believe the Chiefs will stop the run enough, but not to stop them completely, and that will be enough. I don't think it's going to happen. Spagnuolo going to have his hands full. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see how you're going to stop. It's one thing to stop Saquon Barkley. It's another thing to stop Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. It's gonna be because I'm telling you, they couldn't do it the last time. I mean, they didn't even have Saquon Barkley, and they couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. They had no answer for they literally had no answer for Jalen Hurts. None. And I don't know how they're gonna have an answer for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. I don't think they'll have an answer. Tony Simmons, Jalen Hurts is going. Wait, what did he say? He said Jalen Hurts is going to try to get Kellen the head coaching job. Pass happy. Man, you know what? I think Kellen is good as in there. From everything, all intents and purposes. They'll probably announce him as a head coach the day after the win. Might announce him the night of if he wins, in which I think they are going to win. What's going on, Tony Simmons? Jamison Taylor, what's going on? Janie Scott, what's going on? Took the carts bus to the post office, had to shake my head, and the passenger were in the heated debate on who will win. Man, I'm telling you. Let me tell you, Janie, people do not remember. This was just 2 years ago. The Philadelphia Eagles are better than they were 2 years ago. They're better. I don't think the Chiefs are better, but I know the Philadelphia Eagles are better. Saquon Barkley has really put them over the top. He has. Sheldon Johnson, appreciate it. $10 super chat.
Here we go.
Yeah, man, I know. Jalen Tolbert scored the most touchdowns. I know. But it's how he scored the touchdowns. The Pittsburgh touchdown was amazing. But some of the other ones, he's going to still be on the team, though, I'm pretty sure, because he's not a free agent. He's not a free agent. And Jerry loves his draft picks. And I think Dak Prescott likes Jalen Tolbert. So just maybe, I think what Jalen Tolbert needs, you tell me. You tell me, Sheldon. I'll tell you what I think Jalen Tolbert needs. I don't think Jalen Tolbert is a number 2. I think that's one of his problems. They wanted him to be a number 2. Okay, I think we got to admit he's not a number 2. But if you if you put a bona fide number 2 opposite of CeeDee Lamb, you're letting go of Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks done. Too much money. Well, maybe Jalen Tolbert can be the number 3. Maybe he can be the number 3. But I'll tell you this. I think Jalen Tolbert is going to have a hard time beating out Ryan Flanoy and Jonathan Mingo. I think he's going to have a hard time beating out both of them. I do. I think he's going to have a hard time beating out both of them. You can only imagine what Ryan Flanoy is going to look like in his second season. Ryan Flanoy has got a lot of raw talent. And Jonathan Mingo, we'll see what he is. I think Dak Prescott, Jonathan Mingo and Ryan Flanoy both are big-bodied receivers. Man, I think Dak Prescott may be able to turn Jonathan Mingo, may be able to turn him into a deep threat. Ryan Flanoy may be able to be a ball control wide receiver, but it's still, with all that being said, still would not deter me. Still would not deter me from going in this draft and getting a super stud wide receiver. And I'm not talking about no regular guy. They need to get a super stud wide receiver. They really do. Robert M. McCaffrey's on the way down. He's seen better. Man, McCaffrey, I think McCaffrey, I don't want to say he's done. But McCaffrey for a full season, I don't think it can happen no more. Once you start having trouble, the trouble in the legs like he's having, I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Big dog, we outside. Cowboy Nation for life. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Regardless, McCaffrey's still in the contract. Oh, they don't have no choice but to do what they got. They got to try to see if he's going to work. I just don't think he's going to work. Vincent Johnson, those other running backs makes players miss as much as Ashton Genty. He's shifty. Genty is shifty. That's why I say if Genty is there, get him. Don't even discuss it. Genty not there, go back. AJ Meadow, he said, I saw Deuce Vaughn in person. I'm 6'1", 300 pounds. I wouldn't want to tackle him. Couldn't even catch him. That's why I say he's not a little guy. He's a small guy, as in stature. But he's a big, small guy. But I think they got to get him in space. I think that's one of the mistakes that Mike McCarthy made. He would not try to get Deuce Vaughn in space and just trying to get him to run up the middle and A-gaps and stuff. I mean, McCarthy's play. You could tell Mike McCarthy didn't want to run the ball. He just didn't want to run the ball. So, Vincent Johnson, I would go back to a fullback if I was Cowboys too. That's something else I would do. And we also misused Hunter Lipke this year. They just didn't use him right. Robert M., I agree with you. Like his story, he's replaceable. We got to quit liking our guys so much. We got to get better. Yeah, he could be a casualty over the next couple of years. Let me finish up my coaching thing, and then y'all tell me what you think. So, let me go down the line here. We got Tyquan Underwood. I don't know a lot about Tyquan Underwood, so I'm going to put him on a C. Let me make sure here. No, so I can know the staff here. All right, so let's go to Derek Foster next. A lot of people seem to like this dude, Derek Foster. I don't know a lot about him, but the way people keep talking about him, the way the Saints Wire talked about him, I would give him a C, but I'm going to give him a B minus, so I'll put him up on the B. Nick Sorensen, I got questions about him as the special teams coach. I think Andre Curtis I want to put him on the B because he's got some past with Matt Eberflus. Let me look and see. The next staff. Let's see, not there. I got to remember who these guys are. Defensive line coach. Let me tell you about this guy right here. This defensive line coach, I've seen some videos on this guy. I'm putting this guy on the A tier. David Overstreet. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to put the Barganzi guy. I'm gonna put him as a B minus, and I'm gonna put this guy as a B minus also, just because of some of the background. But when you think about the Cowboys coaching staff, when you look at what they put, I said this, if they hired Deion Sanders, I think they would have had to do the same thing. But when you look at Brian Schottenheimer, they've insulated him. Brian Schottenheimer doesn't have to be on the A tier right now. Brian Schottenheimer on the C tier. But when you add up all of these, you got two A-tier coaches in the perfect position. I believe Matt Eberflus, A-tier coach. I think the defense is going to be nasty. Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach. I think this defense is going to be nasty. Clayton Adams, I think he's going to do great in the run game. I got him at a B+. I think the run game is going to be superb. And, of course, it's going to be superb because I think they're going to wind up getting either Ashton Genty or one of these other great running backs. Derek Foster, of course, being the running backs coach. We'll see what he do with the new running back room. Hopefully he can do something with Deuce Vaughn we've been discussing. Again, Andre Curtis, the defensive passing coordinator, the linebackers coach. I'm good with him, and I'm good with David Overstreet II. A lot of people were saying, I was shocked they let go of Al Harris, but the rumors are coming out that they were saying that Al Harris wasn't that good. And I'd actually said early on in the year, when Mike Zimmer's defense was first starting to turn around, I think the thing that messed up Mike Zimmer's defense was bad secondary play. Al Harris is over that. How many of us were saying that the safety play for the Cowboys was terrible? Terrible, man. So I think these are all improvements. But you think about it as a team. Man, the defense is going to be, I think the Cowboys' defense is just going to be on point. I think their defense is going to be on point. I think they're going to have a great running game. And this is just for right now. Shotty can easily move up to the B or the A tier once we get a few games into the season. We'll kind of see his philosophy kind of playing out right in front of our eyes. We'll see it playing out, and then we'll really know what Shotty is. But I think the Cowboys are going to shock people. I think the Cowboys are going to shock people this year because we're not rebuilding. We're recalibrating. We already got a lot of key players. I'm just telling y'all, if the Cowboys get Ashton Genty or Marion Hampton, I will be insufferable because I'm telling you, I believe with a running game alone, the Cowboys are going to improve tenfold. Just with a running game, y'all. Just a running game. A running game, and let me add, running game and a second wide receiver. And I think they're going to do both. Running game, second wide receiver, they can do anything they want to do after that. Because it'll just be gravy. But I do think they're going to do the defense. Now, let me mention something here, and then I'm going to go to the comments. Y'all know what I find to be strange? And let me give Mark Holmes credit for this. I want to make sure I give Mark Holmes credit because I watched a video of him saying this. And I was like, Mark Holmes, you're right. Mark Holmes pointed out Micah Parsons runs his mouth all the time. Micah Parsons has said nothing about this new coaching staff. What's going on with that? Micah Parsons has said nothing. When's the last time we've known Micah Parsons to say nothing? He said nothing. What is going on with that? And I will quote Mark Holmes again. The silence is deafening. It's literally deafening because he talks all the time. Why is Micah Parsons saying nothing? What is going on with that? And, you know, everyone's talking about Matt Eberflus's defense. And when you think about Matt Eberflus's defense, this is going to be another one of these issues that Micah Parsons had with one Mike Zimmer. Now, I hope Eberflus, and I think Eberflus is probably going to be different. I hope he is. Zimmer said he regretted not implementing his own system when he first came in. And I know why he did this. It was because of Micah Parsons. But if I'm Eberflus, do not do and make the mistake that Mike Zimmer made. Because it's amazing to me. It's amazing when you think about it. When Zimmer started running, apparently, when Zimmer started running his own system, anybody notice what happened to the defense? Anybody notice? When Zimmer implemented his own system, according to him, the defense took off. The defense took off when he implemented his own system. But it was around the 12th game that Michael Parsons said, we finally got it. No, you didn't finally get it. You finally embraced it. If I'm Eberflus, day one, my own system. Day one. Day one, my own system. I'm not dealing with Michael Parsons and his feelings. It is time for somebody to come in and help Michael Parsons go to the next level. I listened to a video of Michael Parsons talking about I think it was his college career. And he was talking about how there were a couple of coaches that pushed his buttons and really, really pushed him in so many different ways to be this, that, and the other. He needs somebody to do that again. Not somebody placating to him. No, somebody that comes in and says, Michael Parsons, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And I can tell you this. I kind of been listening to the tea leaves of people talking about Matt Eberflus. I'm wondering how they're going to use Michael Parsons, because you can't adjust every defense to Michael Parsons. Matt Eberflus's defenses, at least the way they've been talking, is he actually likes two big defensive ends on the end, the way he likes to do his defense. Well, Michael is not that guy if you want the big defensive ends on the end. So you're still going to have to figure out, because Michael Parsons, some are saying that he's not good in pass coverage. I don't think that he's not good. I don't think the problem is he's not good in pass coverage. I think the problem is he don't want to do pass coverage. I think the problem is he don't want to play linebacker. I don't think the problem is that he can't do these things. Because Michael is too talented not to be able to do any of these things. I don't think he wants to. And then what happens is they start placating towards what he wants rather than what's best for him. So I'm very interested in what does Matt Eberflus do. But also, number two, he said nothing. He's absolutely said nothing. Nothing. So I'm really wondering, like, what is all this saying? What is all of this saying? I mean, and I think a part of it may be, somebody finally told Michael Parsons what I was saying, and I wish I could have been somebody in his ear a long time ago. Michael Parsons, shut up talking about other men's pockets. Stop talking about taking less money so you can have players when everyone knew this was a fallacy. Number three, stop negotiating your contract in the court of public opinion. Don't put your contract out there like that. You thinking that you saying you're going to take less money is going to make Jerry and Steven hurry up? I don't know. Maybe we wake up tomorrow and there's a deal signed. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, the moment he'd have told me he'd take less money, I'd have got the deal done. Okay, you take less money? How low will you go? As they said in Grease Lightning. How low will you go? Because I can tell you this. Myles Garrett wants to come to the Cowboys. Now, some say, why would he want to come to the Cowboys? We're not a contender. Because he likes the Dallas area. That's why. Myles Garrett wants to come back to Dallas. Myles Garrett would play in Dallas in a heartbeat. And if Myles Garrett was on this team, it immediately becomes a contender. It is a contender with Myles. I mean, we already know what we're doing. The coaching hire itself tells us what we're doing in the draft. Running back will be priority one. It will be priority one. Priority 2 or 3 is going to be a wide receiver. I'm hoping it's priority 2. Priority 3 will probably be D-line, especially with the thing going on with Osa Odigizua. I don't even know what they're going to do with Osa. Who knows what the Osa Odigizua thing is going to turn out to be? But if I'm the Cowboys, I'll be honest with you. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm not paying $100 million for Osa Odigizua. I'm not making no Osa Odigizua $100 million defensive tackle. I'm just not doing it. I'll go in the draft before I do that. I will go in the draft before I do that. So I'm just wondering, what does all this mean with Micah Parsons? I mean, he is deadly silent. Deadly silent on this. Brandy Mahoney, I'm going to start from where you are. What's going on, Brandy, again? Troy Dudley, maybe, but ESPN don't know. Oh, man. ESPN is terrible. Scatty Boo. Oh, man. You know what? I think Scatty Boo is a very talented player. I just don't think he fits into what the Cowboys are trying to do. I don't think he quite fits in. He looks like a great talent, but I don't think he fits into what we're trying to do. Scatty Boo. Oh, he won't be the most underrated. Let me tell you, every single year, Skull, we see this happens. Combine and pro days. All of a sudden, and Scatty Boo, already his stock started rising after that bowl game. So now, if we get to see him in the combine and he runs a faster time, does the cone drills well and other things, he may rise up in the draft. He's one of these guys, though. I don't see him being a first or a second. I mean, I think he's one of these guys that people will probably start, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't see him being looked at until the third round. I think in the third round, there'll be teams that'll be looking for him, but there's no way I would take him in the first. No, I'm taking Genty in the first or Marion Hampton. Sheldon Johnson says, I believe that, yeah. You know what? I wouldn't have minded the Cowboys keeping Pollard. I think Pollard would have been good for the Cowboys. I wouldn't have minded them keeping him. C-Bay says it's a fair assessment to wait for the combine. Some kids do well in college, not in the pros. Scatterboo, man, in my opinion, just watching for combine to give him benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I wouldn't. Scatterboo to me, he is a third day guy. He's a second day guy. He's a third round draft pick. I'm not getting him. I'm not doing a first round on him. To me, he's more of a luxury pick. If I need a bona fide running back, I'm not picking him. Jameson says, okay, so you're healthy, so your blood pressure is low. All right. Let's hope everything keeps going well, though. C-Base, plenty of running backs better. You talking about Scatterbo? I agree. Sheldon Johnson, I'm glad Parsons shut up. Hey, you know what? Man, he is deadly silent. You know what? It could be a good thing, but it's probably sending more of a message. No contract, I'm not talking. I think the message is I have no contract. I'm not talking. See, Micah Parsons is going to learn the age-old saying that Jesus said. Do not cast your pearls before swines. Micah Parsons, and I said it then, and I'm going to say it again. You should have never been out there flapping your gums, bringing bad press to your quarterback indirectly saying, well, you know what they say, when you're the highest paid player, they can't put players around you. The Joneses are going to prove you wrong. They're still going to put players around Dak Prescott. And they can still put players around you with whatever contract they were going to give you. But you come out trying to be the golden boy. Oh, I don't need to be the highest paid. Keep that same energy. I'm saying, keep that same energy. And I guess Micah thought that was going to get him an immediate contract signing. Cowboys still taking their time. I don't really know what they're doing. They hadn't signed him. And I think the reason why he's deadly silent is because they haven't signed him. They hadn't signed him. So all that Cowboy for life talk, all that I'm the Jerry nephew, we're gonna get Jerry a Super Bowl. Okay, keep that same energy. You're gonna learn to cast your pearls before swine. No, shut your mouth, man. You let your agent deal with your money. If you want to give the team a discount, let your agent tell them. You don't step out into the court of public opinion talking about your contract. Because the only thing going to happen is you're going to get your feelings hurt. You get your feelings hurt. Yeah, Curly, he talks he ain't talking now. I don't know, C-Base. I don't know if Shotty shut it down. I just think he don't have a contract. We going to see Cotty Shaw. But I think the big thing is he don't have a contract. So there's no point in doing all that talking. I heard somebody talking about trade. Don't think that's going to happen. Skull, let's trade Michael like Luka and get draft picks. And man, let me tell you something. That's the thing I was thinking. Who would take Myles Garrett? Who would take Myles Garrett in a trade for Michael Parsons? I love Michael Parsons, but I would take him. I would take Myles Garrett. I would take Myles Garrett. He's an absolute dominant man. You could do some things with him. Janie Scott, maybe someone pull his coattail. I think it's that he don't have a contract. But whatever the case is, because here's my problem. And I don't really have a problem with it. But if you noticed at the press conference, how many people, the players, came out to stand behind Shotty. So I would have expected at least that when Matt Eberflus was hired, that Michael would have said something. Because it's not really anybody's fault. Jay Recruiter had been mentioning this all along. Me and Jay Recruiter had been saying this, and Jay Recruiter was really on it. He didn't think Mike Zimmer's heart was in the game. And I said, too, that I thought for sure Mike Zimmer only did this as a favor to Jerry Jones. I don't think Mike Zimmer ever came back with the intentions of saying, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm going to be with the team. I'm coming back, no, I don't think that was ever the plan. I think Jerry Jones called him up and said, hey, man, could you be the defensive coordinator for a year? Do me a solid on this. Zimmer's good friends with Jerry Jones. Zimmer said yes. Zimmer did his thing, and he was done. You could tell even by the end of the season. I just don't think Zimmer wanted to do it anymore. He's got this hot young fiance now. Zimmer's about to go out and live life again. I don't think he ever wanted to do it. So for Zimmer, it seemed like Michael had started liking Zimmer, but even Michael had mentioned that Zimmer was probably going to retire. I'm sure you heard that Zimmer I'm pretty sure Zimmer kind of like, man, I don't think I'm coming back. But I'm just shocked. He hadn't said nothing, even after hiring Eberflus. Nothing. Vincent Johnson, appreciate that super chat. Appreciate you. Vincent Johnson said, love your content. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. I'm just blown away on this, man. I'm just blown away on this. Let me go to some of you guys' comments and see if you caught up with me. And I'm just wondering what everyone's thinking on this. This is like, to hear Michael Parsons be this quiet is crazy. It is. Don't know, be the best. He said if Osa go to Washington, they will cut Jonathan Allen and just sign him. And I'm telling you, I did a video on it already. Get ready. I think this dude, Dan Quinn, is a shrewd operator. I think he's going to go for Myles Garrett. I think he's going to go for both of them. He won't probably get both, but I think he'll go for both of them. But also Odigizua. I think Osa Odigizua is the one that he can really make the run for because it's not like he has a contract. So basically all you have to do is outbid the Dallas Cowboys. So the question becomes, how much do they want to put into Osa Odigizua? Because I can just tell you me. I'm not making Osa Odigizua into a $100 million defensive tackle. That's tough for me. I just don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. Curtis said running back first round, wide receiver second round, third round Scatty Bo. If he's there, because I think that's the round he's going to go in. I definitely think that's the round he's going to go in for sure. Now, you know what? I don't mind your combination right there, though, because if you're talking about first round running back, second round wide receiver, and then Scatty Bo is the second running back, oh, I wouldn't be mad at that. I definitely wouldn't be mad at that. Jacob said, "Will the Cowboys try to get the fourth round pick back?" You know what? Let me tell you, when Jerry did one of his shows on the Fan, and I think Jerry did this on purpose. Jerry was talking to somebody on the phone, and you could hear him say something to the effect of, "Yeah, that'll be good. That'll get a fourth round pick." I don't want to put a lot of stock into it, but that's what he said. And then he got on and said, "Yeah, guys, I was on the phone." Come on, Jerry. Jerry wanted us to hear that. I will not be surprised if they get the fourth rounder back. I will not be surprised if they get the fourth rounder back because they did it last year. Dro knows. Scatty Bo to the man. Let me tell you something. Scatty Bo to the 49ers would be their perfect replacement for Christian McCaffrey. Because I guarantee you, he would use him similar to how he uses Christian McCaffrey. Oh, I guarantee you. Yeah, I could see him going to the 49ers. Parsons' agent probably threatened. Niecy, if I'd have been this man's agent, I'd have threatened him. I'd have threatened that joker to quit. Man, I told, hey, man, you go have to shut up, bro. You messing with my money. You not only messing with my money, man, you messing with your kids' money, your future kids' money, your future family money. I would have told him shut up. And I was saying that all along. Michael was doing way too much talking. But with this issue, he's not saying nothing. But you're right. You know, all of y'all could be right. Maybe this is the Schottenheimer effect. Some of it could be contract. Some of it could be he's already talked to the Joneses. But this sounds a little strange to me because he's had his podcast, and I mean to not mention nothing. I mean nothing. No Brian Schottenheimer talk, nothing. And everyone is talked to has at least said something to say about Brian Schottenheimer. They've had something to say about the coaching staff, of which, I mean, you have to be pleased. The Cowboys are doing a great job. I mean, I got to give it to them. I mean, just looking back at this coaching tier I have right here, they've done a great job. They've done a great job. They insulated this man. They put good to great coaches around him. Good to great coaches. And all of the coaches they seem to fit his personality. They seem to fit who he is. None of this Mike McCarthy stuff. I mean, it was like Mike McCarthy had problems. He brought Mike Nolan on. They let go of Mike Nolan. They brought on Dan Quinn. He never felt quite right. He never felt quite right about Dan Quinn. I think he was very paranoid of Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn is a very imposing figure from the perspective of Dan Quinn was literally a head coach, and Mike felt paranoid. Then you got Kellen Moore, young hotshot play caller. Mike McCarthy wants to call the plays. So things never were cohesive. Brian Schottenheimer, everything you're looking at here. Brian ain't going to care if Matt Eberflus comes in and have that defense to be the number one defense in the league. Brian ain't going to be threatened by Matt. If Matt succeeds, Brian is happy because that means Brian is winning. This, what they have put together, this is great. And really, when you think about these defensive picks, this is not as much about Shotty to me as it is about Matt Eberflus. They got Matt Eberflus, brought back some continuity for him. But then they gave him some upgrades with the D-line coach. I mean, man, this thing is looking pretty good. Now, Shotty, the Clayton Adams thing, great for him. Derek Foster, we're going to see. But I got him in the B tier. Everybody seems to think he's going to be good. Tyquan Underwood seems to be exactly what Shotty likes. He's a player development guy. He seems to be a part of that, what Brian is talking about, culture and all of those things. So what they have put around Brian Schottenheimer is fantastic. And so Michael can't really have anything bad to say, but I'm just shocked he haven't had anything to say. I mean, he hadn't anything to say. And I would just think, as much as he was trying to be a leader of the team, which, let's be honest, Dak Prescott's the leader of this team, I would just think he would be saying something, but he's not. But Dak said something that I thought that was so powerful. Let me see if I can find it. What Dak said about Brian Schottenheimer. I thought it was so powerful what he said. I'm telling you, Dak understands the power of really trying to unite a team. Here it is right here. Dak Prescott was at the Brian Schottenheimer press conference. I'm pretty sure all of you saw that. But it's his reasoning for being at the press conference that I like. So it says Prescott has a great relationship with Schottenheimer after working with him for the last 3 seasons. Explained how he wanted to support his new head coach after all the supporting he's done for him in the last few years. Also, he knows that his future lays with Schottenheimer now. He says, to support Shotty, Prescott said via the team's website, I mean, Shotty means a lot to me. He's been a consistent man, and I think that's a part of why he's gotten this job in his time being here. So somebody that shows you the character that is consistent with what they do, that is supportive to me. Anything that happened to me these 3 years on the field or off the field, I got a message or checking in on that. Yeah, I wanted to go and support him. Huge. This is what a leader does. And this is why I'm surprised that Micah Parsons isn't saying a word. It's like now Dak is talking, Micah's not saying a word. He says, 1, proud of him, proud of taking advantage of this opportunity. And 2, I know the approach he's going to have. I wanted to show him, hey, I'm going to be here with you and for you, not only what he signs for 4 years. I got 4 years left on my contract. He's tied directly to my future. So let's go be the best that we can be in these 4 years. That's powerful. That is absolutely powerful. I'm telling you, you guys, people can say anything they want to say about Dak Prescott. But this is one of the greatest guys. This is one of the greatest guys. He's one of the greatest guys you could have at quarterback. Skill, I mean, people don't give this guy credit for what he does on the field, but it's also his psychological level. His psychological level, I absolutely love. I love a lot of the things that he says. I love a lot of the things he stands for. I like how he leads by example. Now, the next thing I want from Dak Prescott is, okay, Dak, you got $231 million. Ain't nothing they can do to you. Now, I need to see the Dak Prescott I saw in the rookie year that ran up behind Dez Bryant, grabbed him by the shoulder pads and said, I'll throw it to you when I'm open. Tell CeeDee Lamb that. I want you to do the same thing to CeeDee Lamb. I would like for Dak to be a lot more vocal on this team now. And contrary to what people may be thinking about Brian Schottenheimer seems to be a very vocal guy. I hope he instills some of that into Dak Prescott, and then Dak Prescott takes on some of that persona and starts talking a little bit more noise to some of these big mouth players. CeeDee Lamb want to cut up on the sideline because he didn't get a pass? Tell him to shut up. You keep talking, you won't get it. Michael Irvin told a story. You ask a lot of people, they'll tell you Michael Irvin was a huge leader on the Dallas Cowboy team, but they had leaders like Emmett. They were all leaders. But Michael Irvin said something. You didn't tell Troy to throw the ball to you. You didn't tell Troy to, hey, man, I was open on that play. You didn't tell Troy that stuff. Troy Aikman would wear you out right there. Troy Aikman didn't play that stuff. He didn't play all that acting a fool on the sideline. And Mike, y'all already know how Mike was. They use Mike right now for the hype videos at the stadium. I mean, man, Mike is next level. Mike is next level. But even he said, you didn't play with Troy Aikman like that. I want to see some of that from Dak Prescott. He got 231 million reasons to do it now. They can't, what they going to do? What is any player going to do? What you going to do? You going to fight the money? You going to fight the money? I wish you would. No. Dak needs to now say, I'm the man on this team. And I hope Schottenheimer encourages him to start doing things like that. But again, very surprised that Mike isn't saying anything. Very surprised. Curly Brockman said, Dan Quinn whispered in Michael's ear. Man, wouldn't it be crazy, though? Would it not be crazy if the Cowboys traded Michael Parsons? That would be insane to me if the Cowboys traded Michael Parsons. It would be literal insanity. I'm telling you, I don't know what I would do. Woo! Skull Unknown said Michael better off in Washington, honestly. Well, I'll tell you this, Skull, let me tell you why I agree with you. I think Dan Quinn's style of defense fits Michael Parsons better. Because I think the problem he had with Mike Zimmer's defense, even though he disguises some of his, his blitzes and stuff like that, Mike Zimmer's defense is a very disciplined defense. Matt Eberflus's is even worse. He is very basic in how he approaches defense. But I actually like how he approaches defense. His defenses are predicated upon rushing 4 and dropping 7 in coverage. I love that approach because that approach stops a lot of quarterbacks. That's the approach they started using on Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott was killing teams on the blitz. And teams finally started saying, man, we just got to rush 4 on this guy and drop 7. Because if we can get, Green Bay did it in the playoff game. If we can rush 4 and drop 7, we can double CeeDee Lamb. We can go underneath, over the top, and they don't have anyone else that can even get separation. We can literally shut this Cowboy team down. They couldn't run the ball. Pollard was coming off that broken leg. He hadn't quite got back up to speed. When you can rush 4 and drop 7, man, you can stop a lot of teams. You can stop a lot of teams because when you drop 4, you create those tight window throws. And everyone's not like Dak. Everyone's not like Josh Allen. They're not like Patrick Mahomes that can make those tight window throws. Not everybody can make those. So when you create those kinds of scenarios, you can beat a lot of teams. Matt Eberflus's defense, I'm telling you, his defense is going to be great. I love the rush 4, drop 7. And so the issue becomes Michael Parsons would have to be that defense. He would have to be that defensive end that is going to not only rush the passer, but he's got to be able to contain. Because also when you run that 4-man line, if you're going to rush with 4, you also got to keep some containment. It'll be tough trading for an undersized defensive end with Matt Eberflus and the way he runs things. So the question becomes, how does Matt Eberflus use Michael Parsons? Now, I think Michael Parsons needs to move to linebacker and play beside Demarion Overshown when he gets back. But I think Michael needs to move back to line. I think he needs to move to linebacker and then let him rush the passer from the linebacker position. He can still rush the passer. The question is, will he want to? Will he want to? That's the question. Man, Curly, he be quiet as a church mouse. Very uncharacteristic. And I think he's probably wondering, where does he fit in Matt Eberflus's defense? Because it's a rush 4, drop 7. That's a different type of work. That's a different type of work right there. Dro knows you said Zim wanted to be head coach. You know what? I don't know if that's true, but I'll tell you what Brian Broaddus said. There could be some validity to what you're saying, Dro knows. Because Brian Broaddus said, and I quote, he felt sorry for Mike Zimmer. Why did he feel sorry for Mike Zimmer? He said, why would they pass up Mike Zimmer? What do you mean pass him up? Did he want to be the head coach? Because if he did, they didn't tell anybody. But Brian Broaddus said he felt sorry for him because they passed him up. They didn't ask him to be head coach. Could be some validity to what you're saying there. And maybe he said head coach or bust. But you know what? I'm happy for Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's had some tragedies happen over the last few years. It looks like he's about to really start living life again. Wife passed. I think he lost a son a couple of years ago. You know what, man? Maybe it'll be good for him. You know, he's got a new fiance. Man, maybe it'll be just good for him to get and just go live life, man. Football is a grind. It is. It's a grind. Dro knows Commanders got cap space and picks. They can sign Garrett and trade for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase ain't leaving Cincinnati. I can tell y'all that now. I'm not sure what it's talk about Jamar Chase being traded coming from. They ain't trading Jamar Chase. They're probably not going to re-sign T. Higgins. They're signing Jamar Chase. Book it. They're going to sign Jamar Chase. But to let go of Jamar Chase would be insanity. It would be literal insanity. I'm sorry. I mean, if Jamar, I know the Cowboys couldn't afford him, but boy, I'm telling you, if Jamar Chase gets released, if he doesn't get re-signed by Cincinnati, I'm sorry, there needs to be about 5 or 6 teams. I mean, maybe even more. I'm sorry, they ought to be giving up draft picks for Jamar Chase. You're not going to find a wide receiver in this draft better than Jamar Chase. That dude balled out this year. I mean, he balled out. Vincent Johnson, yeah, you're right about Olsen. Yeah, I'm not making him $100 million man. If Dan Quinn want to do it, let him do it. George Riley, look back at some of my past videos. I gave it a 1%. And then when it got really talking, I said 2. Deion was never coming to Dallas. Was never coming to Dallas. Adapa said Zimmer and Deion are very close, so him wanting to be head coach is kind of stretching it. I never got the indication, but Brian Broaddus said that, but I never got the indication he wanted to be because he was a consultant for Deion Sanders. He wasn't even trying to be an NFL coach. I think he was loving the fact of just being a consultant. Could be some validity based on what Brian Broaddus is saying, because I'm like wondering, like, where is Brian Broaddus getting this? Because, I mean, Brian obviously talks to him, but I never got the impression he wanted to be a head coach. I never even got the impression he wanted to be a defensive. I never even got the impression that he wanted to coach with the Cowboys beyond the year. I never got that. Kadishaw says, we will keep Trey Lance. Be careful. He's a free agent. I'm sorry. If I'm the Raiders, Trey Lance, come here. How would you like a 2-year, $40 million deal with $30 million guaranteed? How would you like that, Trey Lance? We'll give you 2 years. We'll put weapons around you and give you 2 years to prove that you can be the quarterback. First year, gutter ball. And what I mean by gutter ball, he can roll the ball in the gutter. I don't care if he throw 25, 30 interceptions. We're going to develop you over a 17-game season. But when you come back in the second season, we're expecting vast improvements. If I'm the Raiders, I would not even get a quarterback in this draft. I wouldn't even do it. There will be better quarterbacks in the next draft. I would not even get a quarterback. I get Trey Lance. I would bring in Trey Lance. Cotty Shaw, I will not be surprised if Trey Lance, if there'll be teams after Trey Lance, I won't be surprised if they want to bring him in and see what he can do. Other thing I think Trey Lance needs is reps. And he was not going to be able to get them here. He needs a team that says, we're not in contention yet. We're building a team. We're willing to allow you 17 games of just trial and error. 17 games. No threat of getting fired. 34 games. First season, gutter ball. Second season, we better see vast improvement. And we're still going to let you start all 17 games if you stay healthy. I would love to see it. See what he looks like. Trey Lance is talented. He is. Trey Lance is talented. He's got a cannon for an arm. Doesn't have a touch. I think he needs more reps so he can learn how to read defenses. He needs somebody that's going to give him some reps. I will not be surprised, Cotty Show, if he's not with the Cowboys. I would not be surprised. Adapa, 49ers, Raiders, Bears drafting Genty. Man, I tell you. Now, looking at Tankatron, I've said this before. I'm just telling y'all what they keep saying about Tankatron. They keep saying that Tankatron has been eerily, and I got to do some research. I keep saying I hadn't done it. But they keep saying that these guys are very accurate. And by all intents and purposes, unless somebody does something crazy, and I already did this before, I think they're going to be exactly right about, I'm not sure, I don't know who some of these players are. But I can tell you this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, book it. Those are happening. Whether they happen in a different order or not, those 5 are happening. Those 5 are happening. And we can even go down to number 6. Those are happening. They're happening in some type of order. Whether it be the Raiders trading up to get Shedeur Sanders, I still say Deion Sanders' road to the NFL is going to come through wherever Shedeur Sanders winds up. I'm telling you, I would not be shocked. Now, Shedeur has been, it seems like he's been saying he wants to play for the New York Giants. I am not going to be shocked if Tom Brady gets the Raiders to make some kind of play for Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if he'll be successful. I will not be shocked if Tom Brady tries to make a play for Shedeur Sanders, offers the New York Giants their first and maybe next year's first. I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to be shocked. Because if I'm the New York Giants, man, just peep game on this. If I'm the New York Giants, I need a quarterback. Deion said already they didn't want Shedeur to play in the cold weather. He's played warm weather his whole career. Who knows how good he'll play in that kind of weather? Even though Colorado gets cold, but we didn't quite see what it gets like up in New York. I mean, we know what it looked like up there in New York. Nisi can tell us. Them boys be getting some bona fide weather up there, man. Pure, just snow and all kinds of stuff. Peep game. I'm the New York Giants. Bring. Hey, Raiders. Y'all want Shedeur? Give us your first this year, your first next year. Then you also going to give us a third next year. You can have Shedeur Sanders. Why wouldn't you? You only fall to number 6. You get their next year's first. How much could they improve? I mean, literally, how much could they improve that if you got their first, you think you're going to move way back there? No. You get their doggone first round draft pick, man. You're going to have 2 high round draft picks for 2 years. If I'm the New York Giants, Raiders, come on up here to 3. We'll drop the 6. You'll get our 3rd. You're still in the top 10. You're still in the top 10. Peep game. I go get Sam Bradford. I'm the New York Giants. I go get Sam Bradford. 2-year deal. Sam Bradford, come on, 2-year deal. We'll give you 2 for $40. $30 million guaranteed. 5-year, that's a $5 million raise. We'll give you 2 for $40. You ball out for 2 years straight, you get us to an NFC championship game by year 2, we're going to go back and renegotiate. It don't work, no problem. We're going in the draft. We'll make a play for Arch Manning. We'll make a play for whoever the top quarterback is in 2027. This is a win for the New York Giants. If I'm the New York Giants, that's how I'm playing it. That's how I'm playing it. You can give the Raiders what they want and build more draft capital for your team. Man, I'm telling you, I bet you they could easily weasel the Raiders out of their first this year. You're going to flip the first. I bet you they could get them out of their second. You're going to give us your first and your second, or you'll give us your first and your third. I bet you they'll give them a first and a second this year, first and a third next year. I bet you they would. For Shedeur Sanders, I guarantee you. Shedeur Sanders hits the Raiders. Deion Sanders does 2 more years of Colorado. He's at the Raiders. He's with the. I think this is going to be his road to the NFL. I think Deion will eventually get to the NFL and coach his son. Book it. I don't know about the New York and the Raiders trade, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happens. Because if the New York Giants are scheduled to get Shedeur, well, why would you want somebody, even though Shedeur's been saying and acting like he wants to play in that market? If I'm the Raiders, I make that trade. I would make that trade. But, again, when you look at these first 6 picks, I don't see this changing. Other than maybe there's some moving around with these teams and they may do something. I don't see this changing. The only place I see where Ashton Jeanty will be in danger of coming to the Cowboys, where I see that being in danger, is right before they get to the Cowboys. Saints, Bears, 49ers. That's where I see the danger. I will not be surprised if Ben Johnson makes a play at Jeanty. Ben Johnson, even though they have the offensive tackle from Texas, Ben Johnson is going to want weapons. He's going to want weapons. I will not be surprised if they make a play on Jeanty. I will not be surprised. Now, let's play devil's advocate again. But let me give you the other side of this. I think where they're going with this, as far as Ashton Jeanty, I think why these people think that the Cowboys will be able to get Ashton Jeanty. San Francisco still has McCaffrey. They still have, who is the running back? Mason. The drop-off from Jeanty to Hampton, I keep arguing that it's not a drop-off. I mean, you're not dropping from a 100 to a 75. If Jeanty's 100, what could Hampton be? 97? 96? These teams are probably thinking, hey, man, let's go ahead and get this edge dude. Because who cares if we don't get Jeanty? This is more important to us. We can get Hampton in the second round. We can get Judkins in the second round. Any team that wants a running back, they will literally still be able to have a great running game. Maybe these teams don't look at Jeanty as generational running back, or we really need a running back that's Jeanty when we could improve, because I do think the Bears, I'll be honest with you. Anybody watch the Bears play this year? If I'm the Bears front office, I'm just telling Ben Johnson up front, Ben, calm down. We're going to get you some weapons. But if we don't get you an offensive line, Caleb Williams won't last 3 years. Caleb Williams will be beat up so bad by year number 2, he'll be worth nothing in year number 3. If I'm the Bears, they better build a line fast. And if you can get a top-tier offensive lineman in this draft, no. I'm picking a lineman over luxury. You don't have to get Ashton Jeanty. I keep telling us the same thing. Trust me, Cowboys fans. If Jeanty is there, get him. But if Jeanty is gone, do not be in despair. The drop-off is not that big from Ashton Jeanty to Hampton. And we already seen these Ohio State boys. But we already seen them. Them boys nasty. We already seen the kid from SMU. What would we be tripping on if we didn't get him? I mean, I know we would want him, but what would we really be tripping on if we didn't get him? Cowboys will be fine without Ashton Jeanty, but he may absolutely be there. Because if the thinking is like if just the way I'm thinking right now, you think about the San Francisco 49ers. Well, James Pierce Jr. Okay, you get him with Bosa. What you working with? Defense wins championships. You already got Mason. You already got McCaffrey. Hey, we already signed McCaffrey. He's under contract. Get them legs together, bro. Whatever you need to do, get them legs together. We're going to run you till the legs fall off of you. So this is why Jeanty may be there. Because when you think about these other teams, there is no way Tennessee is giving up Cam Ward for Ashton Jeanty. Cleveland, dumb if they give up Abdul Carter for Ashton Jeanty. And you think about Abdul Carter may be a need, especially if they wound up trading Myles Garrett. But if you look at Myles Garrett's contract, there's going to have to be somebody going to have to eat some money to get Myles Garrett. But if they do get Myles Garrett out of there, you think about the Cleveland Browns. They're saying right now that they're not moving Myles Garrett. Watch as these things get closer to the draft. If I am the Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter is there. You're telling me I could literally get from under Myles Garrett's contract and possibly get a first round from somebody or a second round from somebody, maybe a second and a third from somebody. You're telling me I can get all of that and get Abdul Carter. And Myles Garrett already don't want to be here. Okay, see you. I'd take it. I would literally take it. Because Abdul Carter is a monster. New York Giants, I've already said it. Now, they could throw a monkey wrench if they traded the Raiders. Maybe if they traded the Raiders, let them get Shedeur Sanders. And then they say, okay, we'll take Jeanty and get Sam Darnold. I don't know where Sam Darnold is going to be on anybody's playbook. I mean, anybody's plans. But he could definitely be a bridge quarterback for somebody. So in the grand scheme of things, no one's giving up Travis Hunter for Jeanty. So in the grand, and I've been hearing about this Mason Graham kid. The Jaguars are probably not going to pass up on Mason Graham. I think the reason why Tankatron has this like this, based on what these team needs, and we already know, the Jets need an offensive line bad. They like to kill Zach Wilson. Everybody thought Zach Wilson was the problem. No, their offensive line was terrible. Robert Saleh had no offensive line. They were terrible. Like the guy Zach Wilson killed. Aaron Rodgers didn't look much better behind that line. They figured it out. It's not just the quarterback. Our offensive line stinks. So if they're going to not get offensive line to get Ashton Jeanty, I think this is why Tankatron is thinking like this. Carolina Panthers. I've said this myself. Y'all tell me what you think. If McMillan is there and Genty is there and I'm the Cowboys, y'all can take Genty all you want to, but I'm taking McMillan. I'm taking McMillan. I'm taking T. McMillan if Genty and McMillan happen to be on the board. Not because I think not because I think McMillan is all of that in a bag of chips, even though I think he's all that in a bag of chips. Man, I'm talking about a 6'5" wide. Man, do we not understand what that would mean in the NFC? What cornerback would they have that could deal with this dude? What cornerback would they have that could deal with a 6'5" wide receiver? It's not that I would think that McMillan is just that much better than Genty, but I'm not going to get a wide receiver with this size and speed when I could easily get him and I can get the second or the third best running back in the league. In the draft in the second round. So their thinking is probably right. The Dallas Cowboys are probably going to have a great chance at getting Ashton Genty if these teams actually draft by need. And these teams that are in front of the Cowboys, they have the need. Because really, the 49ers don't need Genty. They are heavily invested in Christian McCaffrey. I'm telling them, you're going to get them legs right, bro. I don't care who you need to go see. I don't care if you need to get bionic legs. You under contract. We extended you. You're coming back. So when you look at based on need, Ashton Genty will be there for the taking for the Cowboys. Good chance, Cowboy fans. We're going to get Ashton Genty. Let me see what you guys are saying about all this. But I think there's a great chance that based on logic, Ashton Genty is going to be there. Skull said, Jacob, hopefully Lance trade deal was bad. Oregon quarterback, Ohio quarterback, Miami quarterback are all good. I wouldn't get a quarterback in this draft. Those teams in the top 2 or 3, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. Other than that, I'm not even thinking quarterback in the first round in this draft. Might not even be thinking in the second or the third. Might not even be thinking in the second. Adapa said we need some players, and to see Mavericks traded Luka, Jerry gonna top that with the Michael trade because we're gonna get picks, not a player. Man, let me tell you something. It is so funny that there are people literally tripping, thinking that the Cowboys may trade Michael Parsons. I won't believe it until I see it. Skull said, I doubt Jerry draft Ewers. No. I'm not sold on Ewers. He wasn't better than Arch Manning. Arguably, he wasn't better than Arch Manning. I would not get Ewers. No. There'll be better quarterbacks coming up in the next couple of drafts. I wouldn't even think about getting Ewers. No, don't need to. No, Cowboys don't need a quarterback. No, I'm with you. Cowboys don't need to get a quarterback until 2020. Cowboys don't need to get a quarterback until 2027. Dak Prescott has a 4-year deal. You get the quarterback in the 3rd year of that deal. In case you want to get from under, if things aren't going right, you want to get from under Dak Prescott after year 3 because you can't cut him. If you cut him in year 3, you cut yourself. You cut him after year 3, where you'll lose way less money. The money will be way more manageable. You don't get you don't get the quarterback until 2027 because you're trying to win the chip. And every one of these players, you need somebody that's going to contribute. Yeah, you don't get a quarterback until 2027. Just go and get you a veteran quarterback to sit behind Dak. There's going to be plenty of quarterbacks to sit behind Dak. Cooper and Lance need to be gone. They need to go grab my little brother, Justin Fields. No, they're not going to get Justin Fields. I think they need to get a veteran quarterback. Jimmy Johnson would get on them players' attitude. Troy did yell like Brady. Yeah, I'm telling you. I want to see some of that from Dak Prescott now. Bro, let me find out you about that $15 necklace for $500 at So he said that's what Dak has sold all y'all. Shaking my head, especially last contract. Hey, man, It is what it is. But I love me some Dak Prescott. Dak is a great quarterback. And even though one thinks he's great, Dak is more than good enough to win the Super Bowl with. Head coach, George Riley said head coach Shotty has the advantage of next year because no one knows how he coaches or his tendency, what he'd like to do. I'm with you. Yes, sir. I'm with you on that part. C-Bay said would be crazy but stupid. Let me see what you're talking about. Dopper says CD was still doing his thing without Dak. Nah. No, man. CD was doing his thing, but not like he was doing it with Dak Prescott. Nah. No. Not buying it. Parsons passed through like three defensive coordinators, now going to be 4. He's adjusted fine. He's a generational talent. Not even for picks do you remotely leave that to chance at trading him to a potential rival. C-Base, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest with you. If I could get 3 draft picks, 2 number 1s and a 2 or 3, see you later, Mike Parsons. I'd say see you later. I would try to trade up and get I would even, if I could, I'd trade up and get Abdul Carter. He's probably going to be a generational talent too. Don't get me wrong, Micah's talented. But nah, when you talking about draft picks, nah, I'm sorry. Woo, man, that'd be too hard. Especially if I'm talking about getting Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's a generational talent. Man, Myles Garrett's generational. For sure. If Mike is traded, he should go to the AFC. Cowboys would be buffoons to let him go off into the competitive NFC. That's why, for me, the Cleveland Browns, it might be something to entertain. Yeah, I would definitely do it. I would trade. If I could get Myles Garrett and some draft picks, yeah, I'm trading that joke. Adapter, Jimmy said he wouldn't have paid Dak. Don't let Jimmy fool you. And I was like, what the F? With no trade clause, that's ridiculous. Never seen a Dak fan hasn't improved since Garrett and Kitten are gone. Well, you can say anything you want to. You can say he hadn't improved, but he keeps winning games. He's got 36 regular season. Well, not 36. He was hurt about 4. He's got 31 regular season wins. I think maybe 30. 30 regular season wins? No, Dak isn't the problem. Trust me. Yeah, Dak's good. Yeah, Dak's all good. We ain't got the quarterback. We ain't got nothing to worry about. We don't need to be talking about the quarterback. And this is one of the things that Schottenheimer, I'm so glad I think Schottenheimer is going to put to bed. We don't need to do no more quarterback talk. We talk other teams don't do this stuff like we do it. If we had Jalen Hurts, we would be doing the same thing to Jalen Hurts. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts is on the Philadelphia Eagles, and everybody's keep talking about he's not a quarterback, but he's only in the Super Bowl. We don't need to be talking. We talk way too much about the quarterback here. No. Josh Allen. Ask anybody if Josh Allen is better than Dak Prescott. They'll tell you yes. Tell me what Josh Allen has won. Tell me what he's won. Oh, okay. He's got 3 or 4 more playoff games than Dak Prescott has gotten to the Super Bowl? Has he even gotten close? 2 AFC championship games. And the reality is in both of them, he's not even close. What are they doing to Josh Allen? You know what they're doing? The same thing that all these other teams are getting smart in doing. The only thing they can do for Josh Allen at this point is put more players around him. There's nothing else you can do. What else can you do for Josh Allen? Tell me he's better than Dak Prescott. Okay, what has he won? Lamar Jackson. Dak Prescott's 2-5. Lamar Jackson's 3-5. So tell me what else you can do for Lamar Jackson. What else can you do? The Baltimore Ravens went out and got another running back. I mean, they got the second best. I don't know. You could maybe argue you're talking maybe 1A and 1B. Me, I don't even know which one I would take between Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. I mean, both of them have explosive run capability. Derrick Henry is a physical freak. I don't know which one I would take. Nevertheless, they put Derrick Henry on the team with Baltimore Ravens. So what are we saying about Lamar Jackson? He 3-5, 3-time MVP. He's about to be 3-time MVP. They gave him Derrick Henry. They keep doing things, keep putting players, giving them a new offensive coordinator. Tell me, is he better than Dak Prescott? He's got one more playoff win. See, I laugh when people make these conversations. Yeah, man, Daniel Jones better than Dak Prescott. Is Daniel Jones better than Lamar Jackson? Because by the logic of more playoff wins, Daniel Jones is up there with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is 3-5. He's had multiple turnover games in those losses. We killed Dak Prescott for turnovers in these playoff games. Well, Lamar Jackson has had multiple playoff losses where he's had multiple turnovers. So what are we saying about Lamar Jackson? What are we saying about Josh Allen? What are we saying about all of these quarterbacks we keep talking about? Dak Prescott is more than good enough. Shoddy and this organization, they need to do exactly what all these other teams are doing, and especially what the Philadelphia Eagles did. Put players around him. Fix it to where he doesn't always have to be the one to make the play. Put people around him, other people who can make the play. Ask Troy Aikman how that went from 92 to 95. Ask Troy Aikman how it felt to know that you had a top-tier offensive line and that Emmitt Smith was literally tearing up the league with touchdowns. Go back and look at Troy Aikman's stats. I'm just telling you. I'm not listening to none of these Dak Prescott discussions. The quarterback is good enough. The issue is put a team around him, and not just any team. I love what Stephen Jones said. The goal is to put the best roster in the NFL around one Dak Prescott. Let me tell you what they did to Troy Aikman. Go back and check the tape. They put the best roster in the NFL around Troy Aikman. That's how they won. We saw Troy Aikman before the best roster in the NFL. We saw Troy Aikman after the best roster in the NFL. Troy Aikman was on a dominant team. He didn't dominate the league. This isn't saying Troy Aikman wasn't great. Go back and look at his numbers. This is why people were arguing about Troy Aikman being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Why? Because he didn't have the numbers, but he had the Super Bowls. Troy don't have tremendous numbers, y'all. He don't have tremendous numbers, but he had a tremendous team. And when you got a tremendous team, then you can get the numbers that count. The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. That's what you get when you get a tremendous team. And Jalen Hurts, for everything that people keep saying about him, even this nonsense people keep talking about Kellen Moore, tell me anything you want to, and both of them are in the Super Bowl, and we got our butt at home. When you put together teams, teams win Super Bowls. The mythology is quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Mythology. It's mythology. I'm not saying that quarterbacks don't have great performances in Super Bowls. But typically when you go back and look at Super Bowls, go back and look at the super teams around them. Somebody mentioned Joe Montana earlier. Go back and look at Joe Montana teams. Go back and look at Joe Montana teams. Tell me what he was working with. Go back and tell me what he was working with. This man was working with literally the best wide receiver that ever stepped on the field. Jerry Rice, Stallworth, Roger Craig, Ricky Waters, all kinds of great players. Bill Walsh, one of the greatest play callers to ever step on the field. Man, we talk dumb around here. We got to stop talking dumb. We got to start learning football so we can make the right arguments. Dak Prescott is way good enough. Way good enough. The problem is We're trying to put too much on the man's plate. And all of these teams are saying the same thing. They're scrambling. We're talking about Dak Prescott, and the Buffalo Bills are scratching their head. The Baltimore Ravens are scratching their head. The Baltimore Ravens right now, somebody's sitting in the room saying, one-time unanimous MVP. Now he's about to have his third MVP. First team All-Pro. How many times in a row? First team All-Pro. We keep putting things around him. We got him a defense. We gave him wide receivers. We gave him tight ends. Now we went and put literally the best running back, because you can argue either way for both of them. They put the best running back in the league, if not the best, the second best. They're somewhere scratching their head saying, and we still didn't win. We got one more win than we got last year. And we got a top 5 quarterback. We got to stop talking like this. These teams are trying to figure out, how do we crack the code? We got to put more players around this guy. You watch what the Baltimore Ravens do. The Baltimore Ravens are salivating right now. You know who the Baltimore Ravens want, who they're probably not going to get? The Baltimore Ravens are salivating over one Myles Garrett. You know why? They have a top 5 quarterback that's only 3-5 in the playoffs. Stop the Dak Prescott talk. I hope Shoddy can help stop some of this. I hope they can put a team, put the game plan, because they got good coaches now. Okay, we got that part licked. We got good coaches. Will McClay has been re-signed. Will McClay is already saying they're going to try to get Schottenheimer exactly what he wants to fit his play philosophy. So we already know what that means. The Cowboys are going back to a power run game. Everything they've done has shown us they're going back to a power run game. So now that we know all of this, what they're going to try and do is exactly what everyone else is trying to do. We got to stop talking about quarterbacks all the time. We got to start putting better teams around these quarterbacks, or we're not going to win. Because for every conversation about Dak Prescott, tell me who's winning other than Mahomes. Tell me who's winning other than Mahomes and Brady. You can sprinkle in a Stafford. You can sprinkle in a quarterback here and there. But other than them, who's winning them? I think we're about to see Jalen Hurts get one. But look at what they did with Jalen Hurts. They put together the best roster in the NFL behind a quarterback that everyone says is not top 10. But all he does is win. You know why he's winning? He's got a team. It's not just Saquon Barkley. They have the number 1 defense in the league. We got to stop talking football. We be talking crazy based on our emotions. Man, that doggone Philadelphia Eagles roster is exactly what you want. It's exactly what you want. Lamar Jackson would love to have that roster. Josh Allen would love to have that roster. Dak Prescott would love to have that roster, man. The Detroit Lions, until they got decimated by injuries. They probably had the best 1A, 1B between Philly and Detroit. Detroit got decimated with injuries on defense. Jared Goff is not a top 5 quarterback. He's not top 5. Jared Goff is not better than Dak Prescott. He's not better than Dak Prescott. He's been on better teams than Dak Prescott. He's not better than Dak Prescott. And I'm sorry, that Detroit Lions team that he lost on this year, and he betrayed them. What was it, 4 turnovers? He betrayed that team because they were decimated on defense, but that offense was still there. He betrayed them. Got to stop talking about quarterbacks, man. We better start talking football and understand something. You better start putting teams around these quarterbacks, because if you're not putting teams around them, you're not winning. Howie Roseman, GM of the year. Howie Roseman, GM of the year. This man has not only been to the Super Bowl now in the last 4 years once, but twice, and he has put together nothing but great rosters. This man improved over the first roster. I'm hoping we do the same thing. Can we build a roster? Build a roster. You give Dak Prescott the roster that the Detroit Lions has, or you give Dak Prescott the roster that the Philadelphia Eagles have, I'll join in with you. I'll join in with you and say, Dak's the problem. I'll join in with you. I'll run the bandwagon. If you give Dak Prescott that Philadelphia Eagle roster, and I'm talking about something close to it, because we're not giving this team enough credit. We keep talking about Saquon Barkley. This is insanity. That roster is loaded. Tell me their weakness. Tell it to me. That team is so good. It's great in places and good in places. And overall, it's the best roster in football, and it's the best roster in the Super Bowl. They don't have the best quarterback. I'm not sure they have the best play. And I can admit it. I'm not going to even say probably. They don't have the best play caller. The best offensive mind is with the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe even the best defensive mind is with the Kansas City Chiefs. But ask these coaches what makes you the X's and O's of the Jimmy and the Joes. Great players make basic plays look good. Great players make basic plays look good. They make the fundamentals look good. This Eagles team is loaded. And the Cowboys, what they're doing, Steven is taking notes. Why do you think he said his goal is to build the best roster in the NFL? Because the best roster in the NFL is in the NFC East. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the best roster in the NFC East. And Stephen Jones is saying, we got to build a better roster. We got to stop all this dumb talk to Jerry. Do we not realize a part of the mistake that Jerry has been saying for 2-3 years? We go as far as Dak take us. Who else is saying that? Ask Andy Reid. Andy ain't saying that. Andy Reid said we need to get Patrick Mahomes a run game. We need to get Patrick Mahomes a defense. We need to keep supplementing things around him. We got to keep getting better in places. That's what Andy Reid is saying. These other teams are saying these same things. The issue is they just were not able to do it on the level of the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be paying the piper here in another year or two. But I'll tell you this. I talked about this before. I love exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles did. In this salary cap era, you have to go in cycles. Cycles. You got to say, I'm going to build my team up for 3 years. And inside of that 3 years, I got to build it up to it until it gets to a point to where I can win a Super Bowl with it. And if I hit that Super Bowl, then I did it. And then understand that in that cycle, I'm going to peak, and then I'm going to pay the piper. But I'm going to come right back around to that cycle. I'm willing to have a down year to get back to that year to where I get back to the Super Bowl, rather than never getting there. The Rams have went through their cycle. They went to the Super Bowl, they paid the piper, and now they're cycling back around, it looks like. And it looks like if they keep on going, they'll be back where they need to be in another year or two. This is the salary cap era. You got to play the game. And if you're not going to play that game, you're not going to be playing in the game. And that's why everyone in the AFC, they need to be put on notice. Unless you're going to do what the Detroit Lions did and the Philadelphia Eagles did in the AFC, every Super Bowl is going through Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So you got to build teams to beat that team. And Baltimore tried to do it. They didn't quite get there. But guess what? Keep Derrick Henry. Now you got to go out and find you another piece. And it's obvious defensively, as good as they were, I think they need more. They need more on defense. That's why I'm telling you, they're salivating over Myles Garrett. They're just not going to be able to get him. Because if I'm the doggone Cleveland Browns, there ain't no way I'm trading this dude to anybody in the AFC. Not doing it. Not doing it. Brady gets Ewers if they trade up. Book it. I'd love to see it because I wouldn't do it. Nisi, a warm winter day is 35. I'm telling you, Nisi, I will not be surprised if the New York Giants trade Shedeur Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised. I would, and I'm not touching. I don't know why y'all do. Man, I'm sorry. I saw you was in these college playoff games. Man, I wouldn't touch that dude with a 10-foot pole. Nah, I wouldn't do it. Jackson Dart doesn't seem like a bad pick either. Ole Miss did good. Yeah, I'm not touching any of these quarterbacks. Not to be my quarterback. Now, if I want to bring him in as backups, nah, I'm not touching none of these quarterbacks. I'm not doing it. I'm definitely not forcing myself to get a quarterback. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, I think that Brady is going to try to make a play on Shedeur Sanders. I think that's what the play is. Troy Daly, no, yeah, for me, especially the Cowboys, they can't do it, but I think the Raiders may do it. Brady and Deion got a good relationship. Brady getting Shedeur. I think he may try to trade. I really think he may try and trade and get him. Yeah, he worked out with him. Sam Bradford is still in the league. Where? Where in the world? Sanders will ready to go to the Raiders. I think he might go to the Raiders. Shaking my head, listening is a skill. No one said Deion would coach Dak. Deion did. I said Dak would be forced to seek trade. No, he wouldn't. Deion Sanders leaked out of his camp, and this was all just Colorado nonsense, trying to get what he wanted out of Colorado. No, they could not force Dak to do anything, Adapa. No, they couldn't. We have to understand what we're saying. The Cowboys couldn't force Dak to do anything. And some people try to do a lot of double talk and they say, oh, yeah, Dak Prescott didn't have, he can be traded. A no trade clause means that you can be traded, but he gets to veto the trade. That means no trade clause. I don't understand I don't know why we try to make these. I don't know why we try to come and try to say no. A no trade clause is what it is. You can't trade him unless he approves it. And if I'm Dak Prescott, why would I approve it? Why would I approve you trading me? Why would I approve it? Somebody got to help me out with that logic. Why would I approve you trading me? Why would I approve it? Please help me out with that. Explain to me, how do you force somebody to be traded who can't be traded? Explain it. Deion wouldn't want Dak. Yes, he said he would coach Dak. Deion's camp put this out. It's not innuendo, and he would have coached Dak. He wouldn't have had a choice. Nisi said, I would love to see a father-son head coach quarterback duo. I believe they will be the first. It's going to happen. And I think the Raiders is going to be the road to it. The Raiders are going to be the road. I thought this with Antonio Pierce. I was like, this dude days are numbered. This dude days are numbered. Skull unknown. Man, these running backs everywhere in this draft, bro. These running backs are everywhere. Bears, Raiders, and Saints doesn't make sense in the draft of running back. Nope. I'm telling you, C-Base, when you look at what Tankatron is saying, when you think about it logically, there's a reason why that Ashton Jeanty is probably going to be there at 12. The Bears, anybody who watched the Bears, who don't know, Boy, they need an offensive line so bad it's ridiculous. Because I'm telling you, if they don't get Caleb Williams on the offensive line, he ain't gonna make it. he ain't gonna make it. They gonna kill this dude if they don't get him on the offensive line. Yeah, McCaffrey. And the problem is that with McCaffrey, didn't they extend him last year? Yeah, I think Cowboys are probably gonna wind up getting Genty. If you just look at how things are set. Don't all be the best said, I see 4 workhorse backs, 1 Genty, 2 Johnson, 3 Hampton, 4 Judkins, and much lesser but still capable Scatterbo. I think both of the kids from Ohio State. The rest are good, great number 2 supplemental pieces. Yeah, I think we're going to probably wind up with Genty. I think he'll be there. They will not draft any running back in the first besides Genty. Yeah, I think he'll be there, though. Yeah, I think he's going to be there. Jay Recruiter said there's no guarantee the Cowboys will get Genty even if he is available. They may trade down for more picks. Jay Recruiter, you could be right. But I'm going to tell you why I believe they're going to get Genty. The Cowboys seem to think to me they owe the fans something. And the fans are all screaming for Ashton Genty. If Ashton Genty is there, I don't even think the Cowboys think they're going to get Ashton Genty for the fans. The fan base will go crazy if the Cowboys get Genty. Everybody wants Genty. Everybody wants him. Now, me, I still think you could get Hampton, and I think you'll be fine. Curly Brockman says, whoa, I would not be surprised. Whoa. Well, if McCaffrey got Achilles problems, you're probably going to see some movement at the running back position. George Riley, I believe these owners talking. Jerry wants Genty. I think he's going to get him too. I do. C-Mac isn't retiring. He's 27. He's hurt, though. We'll see. Man, I wish we could get McMillan. That's who I would love to have. For real, though. I'm taking McMillan over Genty as well. Yep. If he's there, I'd take him. Many get running backs. Man, I'm telling you, you could. The running back position is so deep in this draft. It's just easy to do it. Yeah, C-Base, yeah, I'm with you. Just like the Cowboys have needs. Running back is one of them. They need an explosive running back. Yep, Bobby Harris. Yeah, the coaching staff is telling us what they're going to do. Yeah, they're telling us exactly what they're going to do. Arch Manning in 2027. I thought he was available to come out in 2026. Jose, what's going on? Yeah, Genty is going to be for the fan base. I just don't think the Cowboys are going to turn him down. Yeah, they're not going to turn him down. Dominique said you must be blind. Okay, give me some clarity. Lamb was cold with Hurts as quarterback. I watched the OU season. Lamb has been him since the NFL. Oh, yeah, Lamb is him. There's no doubt that Lamb is him. But Lamb is especially him with Dak Prescott. Yeah, Lamb is especially him. Because with Cooper Rush, it was a lot of run after the catch. And we've already talked about this. CeeDee Lamb is a yak monster. He is a yak monster. But with Dak Prescott, he can actually get some of those passes down the field. Makes it a lot easier on him. Nisi, Jerry didn't bring in Bill Belichick because he knew it would pull off the... He would have tried to at least. Yeah, he would have tried to for sure. Would it not be crazy if they do wind up trading Micah Parsons, which I don't think they will, but it'd be crazy. The Corey said I would as well. Bye-bye, Parsons. Man, you know what? Anything's possible. Alex said people who think Dak is a problem need to watch more tape. All these teams have figured out McCarthy. Man, McCarthy was terrible. Terrible. Blue Star said, why folks still worried about Dak? Let me let y'all see something before I get off here. I did a video today. You can go check it out. It's on my channel. But I want to show you. I'm not going to show you the Cam Newton thing. Cam Newton is absolutely crazy. Cam Newton said that the Dallas Cowboys are tanking so that they can get one. They are tanking so that they can get Arch Manning. Ridiculous. Let me show you what this lady, I think her name is Elle Morgan. Let me see. This lady right here, anybody who saw this lady went off on Cam Newton. She went off on Cam Newton. Her name is Elle Duncan. I'm sorry. She went off on this man. Let me cue this up. This lady destroyed Cam Newton. She destroyed Cam Newton. You would have thought she was the Hall of Fame. Well, he's not Hall of Fame. You would think she was the person who had played in this league for 4 or 5 years. Listen how she destroys Cam Newton.
Oh. No, it's not, and it's also not going to happen because there has been proven success in terms of just Dak Prescott's job with Brian Schottenheimer as offensive coordinator. In the 25 starts Dak's made since he's been there, he's completing almost 68% of his passes. He has almost 6,500 yards. He's got 47 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. The issue for Dallas is that they've got 22 unrestricted free agents coming up and not a lot of cap space. The issue for Dallas is that they claim every offseason that they're all in, and then they go do minimal stopgap moves, and they wait until all the good free agents are gone to start pretending like they just woke up. That's the issue for Dallas. But in terms of thinking that he put this man in this position, listen, I'm with you. It's not the sexiest pick in the world. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm going, oh, man, maybe they just got a guy that's an inside guy who will just sort of do Jerry's bidding, and that's maybe ultimately what he wanted, right?
I want to hear Cam respond to you because you're saying a lot. I want to hear. He's got something to say to you, El. He's been waiting to talk. He's been waiting to get at you, El.
He ain't got nothing to say. She destroyed him. Cam Newton was talking. Let me tell y'all something. Cam Newton has joined ESPN, and Cam Newton is saying a lot of dumb stuff. I don't know what happens when these people start this stuff, but let me let you hear the rest of her.
That's not fair.
No. Y'all always want to get rid of the known commodity for the unknown. Y'all always want to trade in what's stable.
You can't say he didn't beat out. You can't say he didn't beat out yours. The fact of the matter is.
Fair. Ewers maybe didn't beat him out.
Saban didn't go back to Hurts.
He didn't beat him out.
He didn't. Exactly, J-Mac. Saban never went back to Jalen Hurts. And everyone was like, how could you not? Seemed to work out okay, right? And then he ultimately had to go back to it. But again,
Stop, El. He won a national championship.
What I'm saying is, I have no doubt Arch Manning is going to be a fantastic quarterback. And we already saw some indications of that. But the dude made like 2 starts. And to think that you are tanking for a guy who has not been the sole problem, who is one of the best producers, for an unknown commodity, that's wild to me, Cam.
Well, let him give him a shot to Chris.
Destroyed Cam Newton. And Stephen A. Smith knows he's wrong for what he's doing because she took him to task and he was over here with this buffoonery. Maybe he's right. Anybody who think that the Cowboys would be tanking for Arch Manning with a $231 million quarterback, it wouldn't even make salary cap sense. You wouldn't even be able to put players around Arch Manning for years. Cam Newton, I'm just telling y'all, man, these guys get out of football and I'm telling you, they are literally, some of them, they are just literally dumb. She took this man to school. And Cam Newton gives some of the dumbest takes on this. I'm telling you, I stopped watching this show years ago. And even with Cam Newton on there, it's even worse.
No.
Okay, but do you have full confidence that he can run an offense?
Absolutely.
So to this point,
Cam Newton is making the dumbest argument in the world. Brian Schottenheimer has already been an OC in the league, Cam Newton. He had 3 fantastic years with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. And this man is literally saying that Marty Schottenheimer is not going to be able to be an offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to go 1-16, 2-15, or 3-14. Cam Newton, I'm sorry, check this man into the mental hospital.
Coach Schottenheimer, bro, you ain't got your rep. Who are you? In that regards of head coach.
Any new head coach, though.
But the argument that Cam is making is dumb. We got tape on Brian Schottenheimer as the offensive coordinator. We got tape on this. This man is crazy in everything he's saying. She took this man to school. And I'm telling you, you would just think, you look at this panel. I did this today, but you look at this panel. It's a crying shame that the two guys on the right are making more money than the two people on the left. McCourty and L is way smarter. Stephen A. Smith don't know nothing about football. He knows nothing hardly about sports anymore. He's nothing but a clown. He's too intelligent for it. He does way too much clowning. He's nothing but a personality now. And Cam Newton will give you on 4th and 1, he'll give you some of the best insight you'll ever hear on locker rooms, plays, quarterback play, contracts, all kinds of things. Listen to him on ESPN. Cam says some of the dumbest stuff in the world on ESPN. I do not understand it. I don't understand it. But it's crazy. It's absolute crazy, this stuff these people talk about. No, this team needs to put together a team, and they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. It's going to be this. I'm excited. This is going to be a great 4 years for Dak Prescott, along with Schottenheimer and the Cowboys. Josh Allen doesn't have a ring or Super Bowl appearance. Not getting one either. I would personally fault Mahomes for that because his greatness just keep beating Josh Allen. You know what's strange, Jared? I can tell you who has beat Patrick Mahomes. His name is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has beat Patrick Mahomes. Give Joe Burrow a defense and watch what happens again. I don't think anybody wanted any part of the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs this year. Joe Burrow, for a minute there, was Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. Cincinnati Bengals did Joe Burrow a disservice. They messed around, messed up his offensive line somewhat, but in particular, the defense is terrible. How do you not give Joe Burrow a defense? Yeah, Joe Burrow was the kryptonite for this man for a minute. They all win against mediocre teams, Adapa. That's the part you don't understand. They all actually win against mediocre teams. We make up narratives. They all win against mediocre teams. They all do. The Cowboys actually not only beat the Washington Commanders with a backup quarterback and hurt players once, but almost twice. They all beat mediocre teams. We got to stop saying, we say this stuff and it doesn't even make sense. They're all beating mediocre teams. They're all doing it. Tell me what team do you know? Tell me the team you know that they're playing tough teams all year long. Tell me the team. Because I can tell you they're not. Because there's not many great teams in this league already. There are some good teams in this league. But a lot of the teams in these divisions are all mediocre. We could go down the line of these divisions. They're all mediocre. You go in this AFC and you'll find out that a lot of these teams, they're cakewalking on these things, man. The only reason why the Kansas City Chiefs were in so many close games was because they were not playing well. And some of these teams were just playing better than them when they were playing well. We make up stuff. No, they're all playing mediocre teams. They're all playing mediocre teams. We got to stop saying this stuff. They're all playing mediocre teams. The Kansas City Chiefs are not running the gauntlet to get to the Super Bowl. They didn't run the gauntlet. Detroit, Minnesota, Philadelphia Eagles. Tell me the tough teams they all played. They're all beating mediocre teams, man. We make up stuff. We just make stuff up, man. Don't know the best. In 3 of Dak's 5 playoff losses, the defense has given up 30-plus points. Yep. In 4 of the 5, the defense has given up 160-plus rushing yards. Look up other quarterbacks' record in either or both scenarios. Too many facts. Too many facts. Straight up. We make up things like they're exclusive to Dak Prescott. We got to stop doing this. we got to stop doing this stuff. We got to stop doing it. This is happening to other people too. We just keep making like it's just us. D-Block 88. I said it. He got the 3 numbers that counted. Super Bowls. He got the 3 numbers that counted. But he played on super teams. No one can dispute it. He played on super teams. He literally played on teams that had the best roster in the NFL. Why do we think Stephen Jones said something that I love? He said, our goal is to have the best roster in the NFL. That's how you win. That's exactly how you win. You put together a crazy bananas roster. You do. Let me see here. I think we got another super chat from Byron Joe David. He says, I said the same thing today in my video, Byron. Cam's psyche is not what I want to lead my team. I'm telling you, listen to Cam Newton. I see exactly why. Let me help us with something as I get out of here. Let me tell you something about Mr. Cam Newton. Cam Newton, there was a 4-year period, I believe. Cam Newton was the best player, bar none, in the NFL. Best player, bar none. Cam Newton was a force of nature. Cam Newton got to the Super Bowl, didn't jump on a fumble. And it changed. The game, the Denver defense was already crazy. They just couldn't afford any mistakes. But to hear Cam Newton say he would take his MVP over a Super Bowl, if I'm any player on the teams that played with Cam Newton during that time, I'm absolutely furious. And to even hear some of the stuff that Cam Newton says, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that a player that was as dominant as he was in high school, JUCO, college, and then the pros, and then you hear this guy talking, you're like, man, I see why now. I'm with you, man. I'm sorry. Cam Newton is just so disappointing on so many levels when you hear this dude talk, man. It's crazy. And it's like, these guys get on these networks, man. It's like they're just saying stuff it's like they're saying stuff for the likes and the clicks. It's just shameful, man. Shameful. All right, guys. I got to get back in here, man. I'm trying to get this doggone thing. I'm trying to get this doggone studio back here finished so I can get back in this room. Got so much stuff to do. These AFC quarterbacks beating up on each other. Who is Sack beating up on? No one is not even Hurts. Who are the AFC teams? Who are they? Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. We can now all of a sudden probably start throwing Denver into the ring, but man, everybody's beating mediocre teams, man. We got to stop this. Everybody's beating mediocre teams. So many teams are struggling. So many teams struggle year after year. They're all doing it. Dak Prescott is fine. Dak's going to be great. All they got to do is get a player. Get these players, and they'll be great. I think they're going to build a team. I'm so glad we're going to get rid of this mentality of we only go as far as Dak take us. No. Let's build a team, and let's go to the Super Bowl together. Jason Lewis said, and start talking in third person. Cam crazy. Man, this dude is nuts. Man, the way he acted after that Super Bowl loss was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not saying he had to be happy about the loss, but Cam Newton, man, this dude here. C-Base, somebody going to be telling me I'm wrong on Sunday. They got the best squad. They just don't have the best quarterback. So we'll see if that's going to make the difference. But if I'm the Eagles, I nullify the best quarterback by doing what I do best. Yeah, Spagnuolo's defense, we'll see. I just don't think he has the players to stop him. We're going to see. Spagnuolo, he do his thing. He beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Hey, he do his thing. We're going to see. Oh, yeah, we done with Cam. Sad. Yes, sir. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if we get any more Cowboys news. Maybe we'll get a Michael Parsons. Maybe we'll get Michael Parsons talking or something and see what he says. I'm very interested to see when he talks. The time, if you can't name 10 quarterbacks better than Dak, then count your blessings. I can't name 10. I can only name 4. That's it. But again, guys, that's going to do it for me. That'll be my time. Appreciate y'all continuing to rock with me. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the participation. See y'all guys. See you guys tomorrow. Let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.